It wrapped around your soul with no control. You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness is my old friend. You will get me till the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness, my old friend, you will get me in the end. So I'll see you at the end.
What's going on, folks? What's going on? What's going on? Tonight, the topic is, should Erik Lamela move on? Is it time for him to go? Is it time for us to get rid of Erik Lamela and bring in someone who can actually contribute to the goals and the assist tally of Tottenham Hotspur? Yeah, so I mean, you guys, a lot of you have probably seen a lot of my posts and comments based on that. If you don't, or if you haven't, rather, I'm going to show you a few things. So this is going to kind of pop up and cover my face, but that's okay. You can still hear my voice. So this is an Erik Lamela heat map for the 18-19 season. And people like to talk about his work rate. But for me, This right here is not an example of a high work rate player. Here's a single game heat map. You can see the direction of play at the bottom of the pitch there. And as far as Harry Kane is concerned, as an example for someone who plays striker, and if you look at most striker heat maps, they're a bit different. Here's a heat map of Harry Kane. And if you notice the red section over the black and how much more significant movement there is based on his play, you'll be able to realize exactly what I'm saying. So if a striker has this much work rate, right, and I'm not talking about skill level. It's obvious that Harry Kane is at a higher skill level than Erik Lamela. But as far as work rate is concerned, there's a huge difference between that for one game or for one season. You've got the 2019, 2020, and the 2021 seasons here. And here's a season heat map for Erik Lamela. Big difference. I'm not seeing the work rate. Not seeing the work rate. But anyway, we've got a lot of people in chat here tonight. This must be a topic that everybody wants to do. We've got Mr. K. We've complained about two things with our squad. One, they are not good enough. And two, they do not put it all in. Lamela ticks one of those boxes. We are that desperate that 1 out of 2 is okay. Don't know if I necessarily agree with you that much, Mr. K. For me, my standards are you got to have both, right? You got to have both. Like take Heung-min's son, for example. That not only does he show passion for the badge, his work rate is higher. His average kilometers run per match is higher than anyone else's on the team. No one puts in as much work ethic. And then on the flip side of that, he has all of the goals and the assists to back up his work rate, right? And so for me, wouldn't it be better for the club? Wouldn't it be better for the club that we love to go ahead and try to bring in another player who's even maybe a third, 2/3 as good as Son? Wouldn't that be better for us? Why are we clinging on to a man who, yes, in his first 2 years at the club for the 14-15 season and the 15-16 season, he was a productive member of the team. But ever since his first major injury, it hasn't been that way. And we're looking at it's been about a good 4 years since Erik Lamela has added anything to the squad. So question is, which do you value more? I don't value one more than the other. I want both, right? I want both. Now, obviously, if you don't have either of those two qualities that you listed earlier, you don't deserve to be anywhere near the club, right? Nowhere near it. Yeah, and that I agree with you. I'm gonna skip down. These are all pre-stream comments. Victor HM doesn't like my music. That's okay. I like EDM. I think it makes a good mood. We've got Mr. K here. Come on, Hair Spurs. Hi all. Will Maddow over from the Modern Day Debate channel. Yeah, I like myself a good Modern Day Debate. I appear on Modern Day Debates every now and again. So if you like debates on religion, politics, social things, that's a good channel to go watch. James, you're welcome for the free promo. And YT, YouTube time. And so then we got some comments from myself. You should call in on We on Tottenham TV more often. Good to see an American president. I do. I try to get on there as often as I can. The problem is a lot of their shows, and that's why we've developed this show. And I see in the background there, Will. We'll bring you on here shortly because that's what this show's about. Is that it's kind of difficult based on the time zone. I can only, because of the activities that I have during the day, A1, I'm either working, right? Or 2, on the weekends, I have my kids' football to deal with. And he's always trying to get his friends to watch soccer more often, but they say it's boring. I understand your pain. I don't think it's boring. I think it's absolutely amazing. We have Paul Brown says, all I say on Lamela is 2013, talented player, but how long do we wait? Exactly. That's exactly my point. I'm not saying that Erik Lamela is horrible. I'm just saying that what he's done for the last 4 years, how long do we have to wait, right? If we're going to give him a new contract now, that's absolutely unacceptable. Why would we waste the wages? Like, people talk about wasting wages on Gareth Bale. Why are we wasting wages on Erik Lamela? Yep, I did see the comments you put above in the chat. That's abysmal. And then, what is the source for Lamela's heat map? It's real easy. You Google Erik Lamela heat map, and some of them came from Tottenham TV, for example, or not Tottenham TV. The Tottenham website was the first one. So this one comes from the Tottenham Hotspur website, as well as this one comes from Tottenham Hotspur Twitter. So this is a bit of an older one from a few seasons back, and they did there's a whole 4 total pictures off a Twitter post of Erik Lamela's match heat map. This one here, the source is from the Premier League heat maps from 2019-2020. That's the logo of the source. I can't necessarily remember exactly where it came from, but just Google it, Erik Lamela heat map, and you can see it for yourself. I wouldn't necessarily bring in a false heat map in order to justify my opinion. But Victor, I am glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. And Victor, come on the show, man. Click the link down below and you can jump on the show. People are too easily fooled by Lamela. I agree with you. Just playing devil's advocate. Hey, no worry, my friend. But Will, how can bring anyone in? It's in the hands of the board. Always has been. Will Josie influence that? If so, we can slowly change. Yeah, but I just don't think that we can. I don't think that we can go. What is the point of paying wages for a person for over the last 4 years has contributed nothing other than a debatable high work ethic, right? So Mark Shepard, he's one of the most passionate players, and we lack that at the moment. But is he one of the most passionate players, or is he just a player who likes to run around? Right? Because passion without purpose, I think, is the same thing as possession without purpose, right? You can play a high possession game, you can hold 60-70% of possession during a match, but if you don't score any goals, how can you win matches? I agree. I absolutely agree, Mexico. Jose E in the house. What's going on, Jose? Thanks for joining. And Barry Connor, thank you for joining the stream tonight. And what has Eric Dyer done for the last 4 years? I don't know. I'd have to look that up. Tonight's a show about a little bit more about the midfield. We're going to be doing a defensive show probably either Saturday or Sunday night. Well, what sets you aside from many is you ask the questions that need to be asked and you back everything up with balance, logic, and research. I try. That's my deal, is to bring that up. Waste our wages on Davies, Dyer, and Lamela. I agree with you 100%. Sell him and bring in a youngster for the game time. I agree. He hasn't even hit 20 goals in the league in 8 years. Shocking. It is absolutely shocking. I agree with you. I think people are too harsh on Lamela. I disagree. I think people are, and that's why the point of this stream is that they're way too better. And Will, if you're ready, we're going to bring you onto the stream, and you can have your say. Welcome to the Tottenham Rant channel. And how are you doing this evening?
Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. I want to ask you something. So, do you think Budwine can play on the left side if Son is injured, since he's right-footed?
I mean, it's definitely not a like for like replacement, but it is. I mean, I don't think that Erik Lamela needs to be playing on the right side. If you remember that 18-19 season, the really thing that got me mad and it really got me into researching Erik Lamela was as a Sun fan myself. I know that you said that you're a big
Yeah.
Sun fan. As a Sun fan myself, there was many a times when Erik Lamela would start under Pochettino in Sun's place, and I kind of noticed a pattern that we tended to lose most of those games, and it really burnt me to see sacrificing a supposed work ethic over quality attacking return type player like Son. So
Because right now I see like do you think Bale is gonna stay because he said he wants to go back to Madrid, right?
I think there's a possibility that Bale could stay. I think that Bale's comments were a little bit based on what he wants or what is already he's certain about. Right, Tottenham haven't offered to renew it yet,
So
and
so if Bale is not staying, would you want to sell Lucas for more money, or would you want to sell like Erik Lamela for less money?
well, I mean, both Erik Lamela and Lucas Moura are going down in value, and
Yeah,
if anything, I think Lucas Moura is holding a little bit more of his value based on recent form than Erik Lamela has.
right.
I mean, you're talking about a player with 4 or 5 goals versus a player that has and several assists and a player that has 1 goal, right? So, for me, that's the biggest challenge, the biggest difference.
Because one of them needs to play in Europe, right? For the Europa League or Champions League. So do you think like next season, do you think Bergwijn's gonna play on the right, or like Lucas or Lamela? Who do you
No,
think?
I think we need to go in for somebody like Leon Bailey in the summertime, right? We need to bring in a new right winger. Hopefully, we can keep Son. If you want to go back, if you can check my channel, there's a video about will Son stay or will Son go?
Because Son hasn't signed yet, right? And his contract is running out this year or next
Yeah,
year.
he hasn't signed yet. He's got still, I think he's got 2 or 3 more years left on his contract. I think he's there till 2024, I believe. So through the end of the 2024 season. So that'd be 2022, 23. I guess this is 2022 season. So 22, 23, 24. So two more seasons after this year.
Mhm.
But
Do you,
yeah.
yeah. So if we get a new starting right winger, do you want to sell Lamela and sell Lucas?
Oh yeah, if I had to choose between Mora and Lamela, I'd pick Mora all day long. And I'm inviting everybody in the chat. If anyone wants to join, like Will has here, we got 2 Wills on stream. Click
Yeah,
that link.
but I mean, if you can sell Lucas for more money, I mean, I don't really like Lucas at all. With his pace, he keeps wanting the ball to feet rather than the running in behind like Son does. If you watch him closely, you know what I mean.
Yeah, so Lucas Moore definitely doesn't have the same ability to run, and that's why I tell a lot of people when I talk about Heung-min Son and I talk about the benefits. Like people are saying, he's been on a drought lately. The last 4 or 5 games, he hasn't really, produced as far as goal contributions. First, I find that to be false because he had 3 assists in that period.
Yeah,
And assists are as equal as a goal contribution as a goal is themselves. Without the assist, you can't make the goal. And 2, it's the most important part about Son's
he's
game.
very unselfish. Like that one assist to Harry Kane. Was that against Crystal Palace or something? That one like very close to the goal assist. He could have shot there, right? But he passed his game, right?
Yeah, no, he's very unselfish, and I think he's a great, player all around. But his off the ball movement, what he does, his ability, the runs that he makes in between the lines or in behind the lines through the half spaces is absolutely fun. Is essential to opening up space for the other attackers to score goals. And that's the problem. If you watch defenders and you watch, Son is always attempting to make a run in behind, whereas Erik Lamela, have you ever seen him get behind the center back before? I mean, it's very rare, very rare. And when you have a left winger an inverted winger, right? If that's kind of the system that we've been playing this season, at least, because you have Reguilon pushing up the backside. When he makes that run in behind, it drags the center back with him, which ends up opening up space for Harry Kane or Gareth Bale on the right.
So my opinion is that I don't think that we need like two inverted winger, because I actually really like Bergwijn, even though I know that he missed like some big chances against Liverpool and everybody was mad at him, and he didn't start for us since the Liverpool game that everyone was mad. Um, but yeah, I think Bergwijn playing on the right is not like the worst thing, since if you make the run in behind, you can shoot with the right foot, right, on the right side. So it's not like a big deal that you need a left footer on the right side.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I think you want players that have more aspects to their game. I mean, let me see if I can pull up a Son heat map, right? So if you were to compare Son to Lamela, and look at I'm to put in more words here. Heung-min Son.
Because I know Humanson is really good at defending. He runs all the way back to defend a lot of the time. But comparing to Bell,
Yeah.
same with Bergwijn. Bergwijn he runs back to defend as well. So that's why I think his work is very undervalued, because he doesn't score the goal.
Yeah, and here's that's not. Why is the Chelsea player coming on Heung-min Son? Certain players. I tried to bring up a Lucas Moore heat map too, but it didn't come up. Who's this one for? No, that's not Son. That's not Son either. A lot of these articles that have heat maps aren't actually attributed to the player.
So my opinion is we should sell Lucas, because we get more money, and then we keep Lamela for Europe, and then we can play like Bergwijn or another right winger that's like Sonny. You know what I mean? Yeah. Since Lucas will probably get more money than Lamela.
Right, but you're getting rid of a player who scores goals for one that doesn't. You're selling a player who actually has a fairly good injury record for one who has a horrible injury record. Right? You see what I'm saying for that?
Yeah.
And then Barry, don't worry about the comments on Twitter. I got thick skin. I don't get insulted at all. So yeah, I think you're right. There's a lot of comments here down here. Now we got Victor M. He's a big Lamela fan. Come on the show, Victor. Come on, man. You can just come audio only, just like Will here. Where's the money going to come from? Hopefully it comes from the sale of Erik Lamela. And honestly, I wouldn't be against selling both Erik Lamela and Lucas Moore if it meant that we could bring in somebody like Leon Bailey.
Because if you look at transfer market right now, Lamela is worth 17 mil and Lucas is 27.
Yeah. And Lucas was lower than that if you looked probably a month ago.
Yeah, a month ago it was like 20 mil.
Yeah. So form definitely impacts value. And right now with Lamela's ability to to work through as an attacking midfielder, it's a lot better.
Yeah. I wish we could get rid of Matt Doherty though, but since we just signed him, I don't think they're gonna get rid of him.
No, you're absolutely right. He's got a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
Do I think Son will sign a new contract? Man, I hope so. I hope he does. But you know what? I wouldn't look down on him if he didn't. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't look down on him if he didn't. the talent and the ability that he has. And I think it depends on the manager. But
If Harry Kane stay, I think Son's gonna stay. But if Harry Kane doesn't want to stay,
well, I
that's
mean,
that's gonna be a lot of money for Tottenham though. That's 200 million if they sell both of them.
yeah, but the talk around the town is that it's going to be Son that leaves and Harry's going to stay, right? So, I mean, like a lot of the Korean videos that I've watched, that's their thing. Is that
I think it's easier to sell Harry, right? Because Man City, their problem is the striker. Like Gabriel Jesus is not really good at all. They would get a good striker.
yeah, that's true. Honestly, I'd bet Son could probably play striker better than Gabriel.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, Moore, Lamela, Ali, and Bergwijn are all expendable. I agree with you. We can get better. We need to get better, right? We need to get better, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then what Victor said here is Mr. K's right. So let's say we spend 50 or so million on someone like Bailey. Where's the money going to come from to replace Lloris, Toby, Sissoko, and Aurier? I don't think those players need to be replaced right now. I don't. I think a right wing, if Gareth Bale goes back to Madrid, who's going to play right wing? Lucas Moura? If Lucas Moura plays right wing, who's going to play center attacking midfielder? Who's going to play attacking midfielder?
I don't think Bergwijn right wing is bad. Like I know that he's right footed, but he can make the run behind and shoot with the right foot.
Yeah, or cross the ball in. But
Yeah.
it's a huge. You're talking about Gareth Bale, who has, regardless of all of his faults, he's got 10 goal contributions this season, and yeah, I want somebody to come on the show, right now, and convince me why I'm wrong about Erik Lamela, other than that he's like, hey, he runs hard.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what I want. I want a reason. Give me, if anybody's out there in the Twitter sphere, if you can watch, I just want somebody to come on and give me a reason. That's all I'm saying. I'm open. I'm a kind guy. I'm not gonna, slag you off or banter you.
Yeah.
I just
To be
want to
honest,
know the reason.
I haven't followed Tottenham that long. As so far, I've seen from Erik Lamela is just getting injured. I haven't seen him like being good at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's welcome to the Spurs family and Spurs
Yeah.
club. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that absolutely love Erik Lamela. There are people out there that really get mad when I say Lamela is horrible. I mean, we're talking about a guy that
So far, I've only seen like Human Son and Bergwijn are doing like the work rate.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything from Lucas or Lamela at all, or Bell.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that think that that I'm biased for some reason, or that I'm not taking into consideration different things that he's done.
By the way, do you hate Davidson Sanchez? Because for a long time, I think like Spurs fans are so hard on him. Like I know that I haven't followed Spurs that long, but I think his physicality and his speed is very important to the team. But yeah, I think Spurs fans
Sanchez, I think
really-
Sanchez is okay. I don't think Sanchez is necessarily bad or horrible. I think he's got he's young. He's only like 24, I think. 24,
Yeah.
25, something like that.
But the thing is, with his speed, we get to push up higher, right? But because we push up higher, so there are more mistakes that made at the back because we push up higher. So it always seems like like the Man City game where Edison passed the ball up just because we push back higher. Therefore, we prone to make more mistake. I know what Tottenham fan was just like, just really hate on Sanchez. Yeah. If anyone want to come speak about Erik Lamela, I can get some food.
No, you're welcome to stay on. We can hold up to 10 people on here. If you want to go get some food, just mute your mic and go do what you got to do. Yeah. We're open to anybody who wants to come on, any number of people that want to come on, and all that stuff. I'm trying to look up here for different things. But yeah, so let's get some comments in here and figure out, what you guys think. So Victor says, last comment has said that it'll be easy to sell Son in today's market. No, I agree with you. But I definitely don't want to see Son go. There's how many left wingers out there in the market that we can find who can replace him? Right. If we were to sell Son and go in and get like Gio Reyna or something like that, maybe. Paul Brown says Lucas's excellent work rate and consistency, not one of the squad. I'd be eager in a hurry to offload. Plenty of others ahead of him. I agree. He would be. I wouldn't mind getting rid of him necessarily, but he's definitely not someone who I'm looking to get rid of right away. Lo Celso, I'm still on the fence about Lo Celso, right? Because I feel if you're going to be an attacking player, you need to have attacking returns, right? You need to have attacking returns. And, I just think that he's got yet to prove. I know he's been injured a lot. I just hope it's not like a Argentinian jinx, like because we got rid of Poch. Now there's going to be a huge. All of our Argentinian players are going to be injured and not perform well. I think that's poor. Nobody here disagrees. Well, nobody here might just. I know Victor disagrees with me. Promote the youth like Alfie Devine, Dane Scarlett, and Harvey White. I agree 100%, man. Bring in the youth. The reason is that Sissoko walking and tossing out a leg against is a bigger issue than Lamela. Winks, who wants to leave to make it to the Euros and playing terrible, is a big issue. I believe that all of those, but Lamela tosses legs out just as much as Sissoko does, Victor. I'm sorry to tell you. I mean, he's got 30 yellow cards. 30 yellow cards. I'd be willing to bet that it's more than Sissoko. We'll bring it up. Sissoko. All seasons. That's the wrong Sissoko. All seasons. Discipline. Well, no, I guess you're right, VM Victor. Sissoko in how many appearances? Well, so you can see that there in 171 appearances for Erik Lamela, 256 appearances for Sissoko. It's almost 2 times as much, not quite 2 times, but almost. Discipline-wise, Erik Lamela has 30 yellow cards, and Sissoko has 38. So in almost 100 more matches, he only has 8 more yellow cards. So I'm not sure if Winks has got to go. Here's my transfer list. Sell Delhi for 35 million, Sissoko for 10 million, Winks for 25, Dyer for 15, Lamela for 10. Aurier last year was contract, 15 million for Davies, 10 million for Winks, can be replaced by Skip, Davies by Sessegnon, True, and by Botman and Savitzer. It's not a bad shake. I still think we need a right winger though, my friend. Yeah, Dane could probably be good on the left, right? That's where it would be. Dane would probably be playing on the left. Oreo, who doesn't want to resign a contract, is more immediate replacement issue. Lloris, who's 34 in the last year of his contract, and fast replacement need a center back to replace Dyer, etc. I don't know, man. I don't know. If Bale goes back to Madrid, you're telling me that you're going to start Erik Lamela on the right week in and week out? Because right now we don't have a number 10 that's performing on a regular basis, right? So that's the spot that it puts me in, my friend. Ronak Khanna says, here's an example of when Erik Lamela was a boss. He's lofted ball to Son against Crystal Palace, which led to our 4th goal. This is what you call an impact player off the bench. Love your vids. Well, thank you for the compliment. I'm not saying that Erik Lamela needs to be playing in the championship side. I just don't think that he's good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. He doesn't contribute enough, right? He does not contribute enough. His big chance created stats are not very good either. Let me show you a little workup that I did on Erik Lamela just over the last 4 years. Let's see. It just kind of shows like his goals, assists, his big chances created, and it also goes and shows. And this is all sourced off the EPL stats. This is just for the EPL. It's not for other things. It shows also some defensive stats, right? So if he's a defensive player, that's fine. That's great. But does that mean that he is free to not have to attack? And if so, why not play him as a number 8, right? Why not bring him in as a number 8? And nope, you do not need a webcam, Will. Oh, sorry, that was earlier. So, yeah, here's just a little workup. Let me get that comment out the way here for a second. So, Erik Lamela in the 2021 season, goals 1, assist 0, big chances created 2. He's had 17 appearances. He's only won 8 tackles, and he's been dispossessed 10 times. So he's given the ball away more than he's won it back. In the 1920 season, he had 2 goals, 1 assist. Big chances created were 0. He played in 25 matches. He won 20 tackles and was dispossessed 42 times. So 2 times, he lost the ball 2 times more than he won it. 18-19 season, goals 4, assists 2. Big chances created 4. Apps 19. Right, so he's almost had the same net. 18-19 was a far better season for Lamela than this season has been so far, and people are saying that this is Lamela's best season of in a while, and the statistics don't bear that out. Appearances 19, tackles 1, 13, dispossessed 20 times. He still gave the ball away 7 times more than he won it. In the 17-18 season, he had 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 big chances created. So that's like the assist to the assist. Appearances 25, tackles 1, 13, and dispossessed 19 times. So if you were a scout, and you were looking to bring that type of player in, would you? Let me know in the comments here. Easier to sell Son than Kane. I agree it'd probably be easier to sell Son than Kane, to be honest with you. I don't want to sell either of them, but you definitely need to sell Erik Lamela. I need reasons, Victor. I appreciate you, and I totally respect your opinion. But I just need a reason, right? I need a reason. Will's still getting something to eat here. He's got everything except scoring goals and assists. So do you mean like, what do you mean, like defensive stats? Because I can show you the Bale's defensive stats this season are better than Erik Lamela's. And Bale's played less games. Winks has to go. Absolutely useless. I agree. Tossing a leg out to block a shot versus Villa, not fouling. I'm not. Are you talking about Sissoko there? Or, I mean, obviously, Lamela didn't play against Villa this last game, so I think Davies should go too. My guy Mescabar. Forget about heat maps, Will. Forget about heat maps and stays, Will. Watch the game and see how he fights for the ball. Delhi and Sissoko have no heat map. They only put out heat maps for players that they tend to pundit on. But you're comparing Lamela with Delhi and Sissoko. Right? You have 2 out of form players. You're comparing it to somebody you want. Watch the game and see how he fights for the ball. It's not about fighting for the ball, right? Just because you run around and you step on people's feet and you knock people's ankles off, that doesn't mean that he's a good player, right? Being a good player ends in results. It's a both and. It's stats and context, right? It's taking this heat map, right? This is 1819 heat map. And you compare it with these statistics. Okay? 1819 season for Erik Lamela. 1819 stats. 4 goals, 2 assists. Right? That looks like the heat map. You see how he runs left to right? This blue section here is also movement, right? It just means that it's not a lot of movement. So there's no runs into the box. And again, Harry Kane. Right? A striker. Spends far more time. Look, there's even red in the box here. Erik Lamela gets no blue in the box. No blue in the box. No blue in the box. How can I forget about this, Escobar? How can I forget about it? That's what I'm curious about. How do I forget about this? Mr. K says Mexico Spurs SC. That's typical Levy tactic. Doesn't wash anymore. Yeah, I got you. Stats. Lamela getting sent off for Arsenal must be the passion people go on about. Yeah. This was such a stupid foul. The first yellow card was so stupid too. Okay, so tossing a leg out without effort and tossing a leg out with effort is still tossing a leg out. Is it not? Right? I'm not defending Sissoko, right? I'm comparing Erik Lamela to the quality of Son, Kane, Reguilon, Lucas Moura playing in the 10, Gareth Bale playing on the right. That's who I'm comparing Erik Lamela. That's the standard that I'm holding Erik Lamela to, right? Let me get this out of my face. I'm not holding Erik Lamela to the standard of Erik Lamela or the standard of Dele Alli or the standard of Sissoko or Davies or Dyer. I think we got to sell all those players. I think all of those players aren't good enough, right? So that's not an argument for me. That's not what I'm arguing for. Fans are so sentimental they will sacrifice success for keeping players and getting ex-players back in their club. Spurs always ex-players. Yeah, I don't know, my man. Side note, NBC and Peacock sucks. I agree. I agree with you, Mr. Project. For all of us American fans, tell me how much money do we have to fork out? Like just to watch every Spurs match. I watch every Spurs match on there, regardless of the competition, and I have to have a CBS Sports subscription, or I guess it's what, Paramount Plus now or whatever. CBS, NBC, ESPN, Fubo TV. You know, I have to have all these subscriptions. I probably pay $100 a month on subscriptions just to watch Spurs play. It's pretty sad. We got Mexico Spurs SC. But the Rabona, dude, I don't care about Rabonas. You scored if you have to shoot a Rabona because you have no right foot, that doesn't make me respect you. If you're doing a Rabona because the situation calls for you to do a Rabona, you can't put the ball on your right foot because of necessarily the situation that you're in at the time. That's a Rabona. But if you're shooting Rabonas because you can't shoot with your right foot, this says you're a horrible player in my mind. Come on, you Gunners. Get out of here with that noise. You can move around the pitch and heat map will show, but what you have done in the heat map. That's true. That's true. Right? You can have a heat map that looks like you ran around good. But when you have a bad heat map and bad stats, what does that tell you, Mescobar? Right? When your heat map looks horrible and you have bad stats, right? Goals and assists, bad goal contributions. What does that say? That's what I'm talking about in context, right? I watch the games. I look at Erik Lamela, right? I'm not saying that he's horrible every minute of 90 minutes, right? But what I'm saying is he's not the quality that I want at this club. He does not meet my standards. He does not meet my standards. No point scoring Rabona if you stupidly get sent off when we lose the game. That's absolutely true. Sign. Maybe it would be useful to post a like-for-like heat map for this season so we can compare apples to apples. A like-for-like for who? Who do you want me to find? And I'm telling you, they're not easy to find. Let me know who you want me to find a like-for-like. Like Gareth Bale. Well, I mean, these are like-for-like. This is Erik Lamela's 18-19 heat map. Right? 18-19. And that's Harry Kane's. Well, I guess that's a year before. You're right. So it's not apple to apple. I will try and find one. We'll try and find one. Mexico Spurs. The characterization of Lamela strikes me as a tad unfair. He doesn't just run around and step on people's ankles. There is such a thing as productive shithousery and pressing. Lamela excels at both. What do you mean by productive, Michael? If you could extrapolate on that theory. And I'll post a link in here again in the chat. And if you guys want to jump on the show and join me and change my mind, let's have a little discussion. I'll be nice. I promise. I'll be nice. Even if I disagree with you, I'll be nice. Yeah. Get out of here with that noise. I can move around the whole pitch, but I haven't done anything yet. No, but heat map can show I've been around everywhere. Yes? Yes, absolutely. But if you've been around everywhere and you have goals to back that up, that shows good performance, good work rate. If you have a very light heat map, which means you've only been on one part of the pitch and you have no goals and one goal and 0 assists out of 17 appearances, or you've scored, I mean, heck, we can add it up real quick because it's not a lot. 1, 3, 7. Let me get the comment out the way so I can see the last one. 2. So that's 9. 9 goals and 7 assists in the last 4 seasons. That's 1 season total, not 4 season totals. That should be 1 season. The last 4 years have been less productive than his 15-16 season. And that's just the matter of the fact, unfortunately. It's just a matter of the fact. was to block a shot, not a tackle. Oh, well, I'm a little bit confused, Victor, on what you're talking about with that Sissoko situation, how that applies to Erik Lamela, or why that justifies Erik Lamela's performance. Center back options. I mean, there's a lot of people, but that's either tomorrow or Sunday's video. So we'll be going on the defense there. We should analyze game by game. Game by game. Okay. You want a game by game analysis, appearance by appearance. That's difficult to do. I'll have to find a stat site that rolls that out. Aubameyang and Saka can't defend cross tackle. So wait, are you saying that so because Lamela could have a better game than another guy one time, that means he's a better player than that guy? Because I would disagree with that statement, right? I want to look for a player who's good across a season, across 4 seasons. Right. Go look at, I mean, just look at Son. Son's a perfect example. Perfect example. Perfect example. Ramos would be good. Big up, Will, coming in clutch for the North American fans. So thank you very much, guys. Come join me on the show. Come join me on the show. I feel lonely. Will, when you come back, just unmute your mic and tell me you're here and you want to chime in. We'll be ready to go. Who should we look to replace Lamela and Bale on the right wing? Leon Bailey. Rafinha from Leeds. Rodrigo from Real Madrid, the young Brazilian guy. All reasonable signings. At decent fees. Right? Lozano from Napoli. Chucky Lozano. I mean, could you imagine Son, the work rate? You want to talk about work rate? The work rate of Son, Kane, and Lozano. Bailey. That'd be great. This side of the Atlantic is the place to be. Well, I guess so. You can no stats, but you can run chasing the opponent. So what does run chasing the opponent have to do with winning matches? That's the logic that I don't understand about the work rate argument. How does work rate win matches without end product? Right? Either you're creating big chances for other people, right? You're assisting the assist, or you're getting the assist, or you're getting the goal. Right? Work rate as a defender, a positive. Work rate, and if I don't get on Harry Winks or Sissoko or Højbjerg or even Ndombele for not scoring a lot of goals because they're playing in the 6th and the 8th spot. But if you're playing as a 10 or a 7 or an 11 and you've got no end product, all right, if you want to play Erik Lamela as a number 8, I've got no problem. He can stay. But if he's going to play as a 10 or as a winger, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay. Ramos will bring a media circus. I got you. I'm pretty good at guessing. I think right winger is more important than the midfielder right now. Center backs and right wing, I think, are the most. And if we get rid of, if Aurier leaves, then a right back, center back, right wing. The whole right side of our pitch is in shambles. Sofa score. Thank you for the. I think that's where I got it from. That's where I got the Hurricane one from. Let's see. Erik Lamela. All right, Sofa score. Save as. Save. Oh, that's an HTML. I don't want to save as. Or I'll just share my screen here. Hold on a second. Share screen. Okay. Share screen. Chrome tab. Let me pull that tab off of here. Can you guys see that? Or is it what happened? That's the wrong tab. That is the wrong tab. Let's get rid of that. And stop screen share. Share screen. Share screen. Chrome tab. All right. That's the one. Okay. So yeah, that's the heat map for this season. Let me see if I can zoom this puppy in. There we go. So that's the season heat map. And who do you want me to compare him with, Victor? So his matches played, he's played 17 matches, right? Started 5, minutes per game 35. He's never been on the team of a week. Goals 1, scoring frequency 1 every 600 minutes. Goals per game 0.1, shots per game 0.6. Big chances missed none. Right? Passing percentage. I would say his accurate per game and accurate in the own half is pretty good percentile. The other ones in the opposition half and the long balls there is not that great. Okay, successful dribbles 63%. Total duels won 28 or 2.8, 44%. Ground duels won 2.4. Aerial duels won 0.4. So who do we want to compare him to in the? This looks like it's part winger, part attacking midfielder on this heat map here. If you look here on this section here, it says left wing, attacking mid, right wing. So who do you want to compare him with? Let's say Gareth Bale. Would that be a fair comparison? Right, because that's it's only based one's based off a longer part of the year.
Just compare him to Lucas and Bergwijn.
Okay, Lucas. See, this section of the heat map is a lot. See how the heat map's a lot fuller? Right? Right. Lamela's heat map this season versus Moore's heat map this season. And if we go down and look at the 24 matches played, so a lot more matches, so there should be more heat on the map. Goals, he's got 3. He scores about half as often, or about 2 times more than Lamela does. Interceptions per game, tackles per game is lower than Lamela's. Possession 1, clearances per game.
What's the overall score? Like, who has a better score?
6.68 is the SOFA score rating, and I think Lamela's was like 6.64. or 6.69. So they're rating him the same this year.
Yeah.
And
We
you said,
just need another.
Steven
right
Bergwijn's
winger.
isn't going to look very good.
Yeah. Let's see. I know they give Human Song pretty high score up there.
So, Bergwijn is a 6.51.
6.5.
His heat map looks similar to Lucas Lamela. He's played the same number of matches as Lamela. No goals. He's missed 4 big chances. See, this is the key one with Bergwijn, and that's what kills you.
Yeah.
That's what kills you.
The good thing about Son is when he's 1-on-1 with the keeper, you know that he's gonna score.
Yeah. Whoa. Bergwijn? One-on-one?
Son.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Human Son.
Let's look them up. See the red? You see the deep red? That means a lot more effort. Now, great, and he's played a lot more matches. Goal every 180 minutes. He's got 9 assists. His passing accuracy is similar. Defensive statistics are similar. Better dribbles per game. Aerial duels are higher than the Lamela's. I mean, that's what I'm saying, right? Why do we have to go for someone just because they play for the club? Why can't we expect someone better? Right winger, 7.25. That's a right winger's heat map, right?
Who does he play for?
Bayern Leverkusen.
Oh.
Right, 24 matches played, 6 assists, 6 goals. Why can't? My point is, I'm not saying Erik Lamela is a horrible person who needs to be kicked out of football for the rest of his life. I'm saying he's not good enough for our team.
But do you think he's a good squad player though? Because we need someone who play in the Euro.
We don't need it. We need a right winger. We don't have a right winger. Right? If Gareth Bale goes back to Real Madrid, if they don't give him another year on his loan, who's going to play right wing week in, week out? It's either Lucas Moura or Erik Lamela, right?
Right.
And I'm saying that those two people aren't good enough, is what I'm saying.
So we sell them and get a Bailey.
Yeah, sell them both. Get Bailey. I mean,
Yeah.
right,
I
no,
remember it.
this is
I
for-
remember. That's for what?
There we go. See? 7.33.
Oh. And that counts only the Premier League, or does that count?
Yeah, that's just Premier League for this season.
And he gets 7.33. That's
Yeah,
pretty high.
but as a right winger, he's not playing as an attacking midfielder, right?
Yeah.
That's what a heat map for a right winger should look like. 5 goals, 2 assists, touches, 29.9. Lamela has better passing accuracy, but believe it or not, he's got better defending stats.
How do you think about Giovanni Lo Celso?
I haven't seen enough from him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen enough.
I know we at Tottenham TV, they think he's pretty good, but I haven't seen him.
Yeah, Bergwijn and Lucas. Well, Lucas has played center mid, right? He's played on both wings. Lamela's played on the wings too this season.
Like Son right foot and left foot are pretty good, but Lamela, he cannot.
He's
cannot
had
always do it.
Amela has had 46 goals in his career, I think. You can pull him back up. It may SofaScore may have this on here.
You mind if I eat? I haven't eaten anything.
No, go ahead, my friend.
Okay.
Just mute your mic when you're.
Chewing. Okay.
But he's only scored 3 goals with his right foot in his whole career. Right. Let's see if I can do. Same like say if this Erik Lamela, look at the difference. Look at the difference. This is a 15-16 season for Erik Lamela. It's great. It's great. That's great. 5 goals, 9 assists. That's a great player. That's a great player. Because I'd rather have Lucas Moura than Erik Lamela as a backup, right? Hopefully we have other beer tonight's Stella. There's a lot of people out there that made requests for Stella, so there's a lot of people that I forgot my train of thought. To be clear, I also think we need to buy a winger. Yeah, but why not keep Moura as the backup, right? Hopefully Moura doesn't have to play attacking midfielder next season, right? Hopefully Lo Celso or Ndombele, we bring in Sabitzer or so, hopefully our midfield position gets sorted out so that Lucas Moura can go back out on the wing. Even though I know that he's played better on the as number 10 as he has on the wing. Crater yes is because we take a spot in top 4 but didn't win anything. I just don't understand what this thing about Erik Lamela is. I don't get it. Who should replace Lamela? Leon Bailey. I said. I wish the site would tell you more stats. But thank you for letting me know about the heat maps. Victor, you just gave me ammunition now. Lucas is a backup winger. Then who is backing up the 10 position? If you're a backup, you can back up both, right? Hopefully, we don't lose a winger and a midfielder at the same time. If you backing up the number 10 spot, you got Lo Celso and Ndombele. I think we need a DM too, defensive midfielder. Main priorities: center back, right back, and a right winger. I think those are our main priorities.
I think if we can sell Lucas for more than Lamela, we can keep Lamela for Europea, and then we sell Lucas for 20 million, 25, and then we get someone better. And to play for the main squad. Do you think he'll do bad at all as a backup?
I think that Erik Lamela can come on as a substitute. Right. I think Erik Lamela can come on as a substitute and participate. But I don't think that Erik Lamela is good enough to start any matches in somebody's place in a rotation. Lucas Moura can start matches in a rotation and help give people a rest. Erik Lamela is only viable as someone who comes in off the bench. I don't know where we're going to get money, but we need to get money. We're not going to get money for a right back or center back either. We got to sell all. I'm going to sell 6 and buy 3.
Do you think Ndombele is bad playing next to Højbjerg? Because you say we need a DM.
Well, I'm saying I think that Ndombele probably plays better as a number 10, right?
Nah, he's not number 10. 10, we need someone like Bruno Fernandes. Like not on. Like when I think of number 10, I think of Bruno Fernandes, right? I don't think of Ndombele.
I don't think Leon Bailey's American. I think he's French. His name wrong. I think Leon Bailey. Oh, he's Jamaican. He's Jamaican.
Does he play on the highest league in Germany?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 79 attack. You know. He can play left wing or right wing. Right? I mean, you could almost sell Bergvine, Mora, and Lucas. I'm not saying that would be good, but it's possible. My son loves Paulo Dybala, but I don't know if it's something that's really good for the club, to be honest with you. Jump on here, Cody Mack, man, with your box wine and your savviness. Honestly, the Mella's Rabona I thought was overrated. A normal 2-footed player would just score. But yeah, I agree with you. 100%, Cody. 100%. I even said that earlier. You may not have been on then. He can't use his right foot at all. He scored 3 goals in his career with his right foot. 3. In all the years that he's played football, he's only scored 3 goals with his right foot. I want to say with his left, it's like 46 or something like that. And as an attacking player, it's pretty poor. Pretty poor. I think most of his goals came out of 3 seasons. The season before he came to Spurs with Roma, and then 14-15 and 15-16 season with Spurs. Those were the 3 best years of his career. Like I said, when I showed you guys the 15-16 season heat map, he had potential then, but he doesn't now. Kevin Chung on the say, oh, how can I get on your stream? Link, my friend. No, that's ice hockey. Don't click that link. That link won't get you on the stream, but this one will. Yeah, I'll probably be streaming tomorrow night. I don't know why I had that link copied, but I did. Dinjepo. Yeah, let's look up Dinjepo, man. Let's look up Dinjepo. You guys mentioned him the other night, and I didn't really know who he was. It helps if I spell his name right. Dinjepo. Musa? Yeah, that's him. Looks like does he play more left wing? He's a left winger, my man. Left wing. Right about 12.6 million euros. 1 goal. 0 assists. I don't know, my friend. I don't know about Dinjepo. To be honest, you're trading Lucas Moura for Lucas Moura, or you know. I don't know, dude. I'd have to I'm gonna have to go look at Brazil Scout and find some Musa Dinjepo videos and do the eye test. See, I'm not just about stats. Right now, the stats are telling me not that great, right? Attacking 57, technical ability 60, creativity of 51. The heat map looks better than Lamela's, right? That means he's got a little bit more productivity than Lamela, but he's played five more matches. Goals and attacking, the returns are pretty bad. His passing accuracy is worse than Lamela's. Per 90. Defensive wise, looks like he's more of like a defensive player.
Do you like the Traore from Wolf? He seems really good dribbler.
Yeah, I mean Traore's okay. He costs a lot more though. I think he costs more than Leon Bailey.
Yeah.
I mean, what was Leon Bailey's price? I forgot. Leon Bailey. 33 million. That's it. That's it. You sell Lucas and Lamela, and you got him right there. Right? And then bring in some young guy in to play backup. Let Dane Scarlett play some back. Let Bergwijn play out. Bergwijn can play on the right. He can back people up.
And I think if we sell Dele Alli for an English team, his English tag is gonna be like expensive as well. If we can sell Dele.
Now with Jamaican nationality, he probably wouldn't even need a work permit, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, UK guys. Does he need, if he's Jamaican, does he need a work permit to play in England? I don't think he would. He's good. Leon Bailey's good. Sissoko's bad too, Victor. I don't disagree with you that Sissoko's bad. I want to get rid of them all. Yeah, Dave, I agree with you, bud. I agree. Right, and that's why I have a little more grace for Bergwijn. It's because it's only his, second.
Yeah, and Bergwijn defensive work is like very underrated.
I agree. Ronaldo for 29 million. I wonder if Rodrigo here, if I can find him. What's his first name? Tell me what you guys think about this guy right here. Rodrigo. Right, he's hard to play that much. He's not playing a lot at Real Madrid. Right, his attacking things still higher than Lamela and Mora. 48 million, a little bit higher value because of his age. He's only 20 years old, right? He's only played 14 games and he's got 5 assists. 14 games and 5 assists. And if you guys watch the eye tests on this guy, go to Brazilian Scout on YouTube and watch some videos of Rodrigo. The kid can dribble, man. I'm telling you. Kid can dribble. Big chances created 5. So not only does he have 5 assists, but he has 5 assists to assists. So that's 10 goal contributions in 14 appearances. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Right? Erik Lamela has 3 goal contributions this season out of 17 matches. Passing accuracy is higher than total duels won, ground duels won. Look at the ground duels won, 2.1 per match. Although he hasn't played a lot of matches, so it helps. No cards. He had a little bit of an injury issue going on here. But his rating went from all the way up to an 8, though, recently.
Adam Machado is worth 38 million.
38 million?
Yeah, so it's not really that high. And he's pretty fast as well. I don't know if Bailey is fast.
Leon Bailey's pretty quick. Bergwijn's a tag player, just looks like PSV games. Mourinho just uses him as an extra defender. What a waste. Yeah, I agree. It fits our style. Who fits our style? No, I think they all need to go at the same time, Victor. I just disagree with you, my friend. Goals can come from rebounds. Football is unpredictable. Exactly like Harry Kane's rebound of Lamela's half out of stride, flick with the outside of his left boot because he has no right foot off the post into Harry Kane. I don't understand why people applaud that. I don't understand why we applaud, as Spurs fans, why we applaud players without real technical ability. I just don't understand. I don't understand what is. Somebody please come on the stream and tell me why you want to keep Erik Lamela. Because it looks like he runs hard?
Oh, I haven't seen the tier list from We Are Tottenham TV, but they seem to want to keep Lamela. The link that I sent you. They said Lamela is a squad player. I mean, if we sell Daly, Harry Wings, and Luis, right? They should get the money to buy another right winger.
What do you do with that stat right here? You guys can't see it, can you? Let me zoom in some more.
I mean,
Hugo Lloris.
Yeah.
I spelled his name wrong.
I don't disagree with you. I think Lamela is not good enough. But it seems like people think he's a squad player.
Come on. All right. Take a look at this, guys. And tell me what you think. What am I supposed to do with that stat? It helps the stats. What helps the stats? Did I miss a comment? Doesn't mean the player's crap. Shoot, I even need a work permit. Thank you, Kenneth. I missed a bunch of comments, guys. I'm sorry. Because his price tag stats stays. How long will you stream for, Will? I'll pop on. I'm probably going to stream for probably another 2 hours, hour and a half. You can jump on, Victor. Everyone's available. Keep Mela, send Bale back, and get someone better on the right. Many choices out there. Why not keep Mora and sell Lamela and send Bale back? I don't understand why we need to keep Erik Lamela. Lamela can make a nuisance of himself and put a tackle on, but he's too injury prone and been here too long. Someone bring a new blood. I agree 100%, my man. Yeah, but I'm not saying, my point isn't that we can make money appear from thin air. I'm saying is that it's time to sell Lamela, especially if there are teams in Italy. Whatever their first offer is, you make one counter offer, and if they decline it, you take their original offer and you just go, right? He has not helped. What do I do with this stat? I want to know. Please tell me. What do I do with this stat right here, folks? What do I do with this stat? You guys talk about his work rate, and I've showed you the heat maps. What do I do with that stat? What do I do with that stat? How is that work rate? How is it deceiving? It's distance per match played, per appearance played. Game by game. I'm not looking at it game by game. I'm looking at over an 8-year career. We're talking about the goalkeeper here, Hugo Lloris. I gotta zoom out in order to change players here. Victor's here, man. Explain it to me, dude.
Hey, how's it going, Will?
Going good. Going good. Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Figured we could talk about it.
Yeah, that's the point.
Let's see. So what do you consider a game?
Victor's here, man. Explain it to me, dude.
Hey, how's it going, Will?
If you want to mute the other YouTube page, that'll help
Gotcha. There we go.
Yeah, there's about a 15-second lag. A match is a
Yeah.
match. It's the 90 minutes, right? So it's the appearance.
Okay, so on this website itself,
Mhm.
it denotes a match as every single time Lamela has entered the field.
Right.
That doesn't count as 90 minutes, though. So if
Right.
he entered the field for 5 minutes, they count that as a match, which they then divide his
As an
kilometers.
appearance. They
Correct.
count as an appearance.
Right, but you're saying per 90 minutes. Because that's a more accurate way to describe that. So if you're comparing it to Lloris, he's a goalie, so he plays 90 minutes every time. If you
That's
look
true.
at Lamela, he might have popped in for 5 minutes at the end of a game. The other way that this is deceiving is if you see the last 2 years, you can look where the tab says seasons, all seasons,
Mhm.
and you can check out what his kilometers were for the last 2 years.
When I do it by one single year, it places a 0, I think.
Right. And so that's been factoring into how it's being divided. So they're still counting those matches, even though he was having an average of 30 minutes per game, if you look at the SOFA score. So let's say during that 2020 season.
No. It doesn't calculate for single season. It only calculates all season.
If
So
you
even if I go back
to, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so even if I go back to 2014-15, which is his first full season at Spurs, it's still showing distance per match as 0. It only shows the distance per match stat at the all-season rate.
If you go to, let's say, 2018-19, you'll see that there is a kilometers there. So the problem is it's been inaccurately calculating the kilometers and also not actually accounting for the 90 minutes.
I wonder why they're doing that then.
Right. So it looks like he's only been running 1.9 kilometers, but if you look at the eye test, that's impossible.
So why does the Premier League? Why are they doing this with this stat? Then is what I'm curious about. Why even put a number in there if you're not gonna
It's a good question. I think it's a glitch.
count that? Because like even with like Lucas Moura, if I do all season same thing, it's bringing it down to 2.68.
Right,
He's
which
done
is nowhere
97.
close.
Yeah.
'Cause if you actually calculate, like let's say for that season, he played 972 minutes, right?
Mhm.
So that's roughly 10.8 total 90-minute games. And then if you were to divide the kilometers that are there, you can then find a more accurate analysis, which is about 11 kilometers per 90 he runs. That's pretty good.
Okay, so if we were to go apples to apples,
Sure.
would you say that Lucas Moura's work rate is higher than Erik Lamela's?
We'd have to do the math.
So 972 minutes versus 212 minutes. So 32 appearances versus 19. But that's an average, right?
Yeah, because it's not also calculating how long he was playing. Every appearance, like I said, could be 5 minutes, 20 minutes. So again, that stat is deceiving to say he only ran 0.2 more kilometers than Lloris.
I agree. If they're only if the 18-19 season is the only season out of 8 seasons that they're using, that's definitely a deceiving stat, and it's not reliable at all. And thanks for pointing that out to me. That's super.
Yeah, no worries.
Appreciative.
Because oh, go ahead.
If we got just this 18-19 season, so you've got 19 divided by 972.
We can already see that if you doubled the minutes played for Lamela and you doubled his kilometers, it would still be less minutes and more kilometers.
So it's an average of 51 minutes per appearance?
Yes.
For Erik Lamela, and then 2,128 divided by 32. So it's 66 minutes. So there's about a 10-minute or 16-minute difference.
Right.
Per match. And there's almost a 1 kilometer difference. So
see, the easier way to do this would be if we divide his minutes by 90 to get the actual games, and then divide the kilometers by games in order to get the kilometers per 90.
Gotcha. So we'll do that. So minutes by number of games, you said? One more time.
So yeah, minutes by
90 to figure out the number of games played. Gotcha.
Correct.
23 for Lucas Moura.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll be like 10.7 for Lamela, right?
Yep.
Let's just quick eye math. Yeah, 10.8.
Mm-hmm.
So then 130 divided by 10.8. So 12.
So his work rate's pretty decent. And again, if you see, there was a season a few years ago where they calculated the top 10 runners for the Premier League. Eriksson made the list and Lamela made the list.
2, 4. Eriksson, really?
Yeah, he worked pretty hard, actually. He did a lot off the ball.
How many games did Lucas play again? 2, 1, 2, 3 divided by 90, 23, 23.
And that's definitely a factor for fatigue over a season versus in a shorter spurt.
So you would say that Erik Lamela and Lucas Moura have a similar work rate? Because it comes out to 10.5, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think Lucas works pretty hard for the team off the ball. His press is it brings a lot to the table to improve the players around him.
And so, but how do we reconcile this though?
The goal contributions?
Yeah, the attacking statistics.
Yeah, I think that definitely leaves something to be desired. And I think when I'm looking at Lamela as a player himself, I do think given his injury record and his age, it is probably time to move him on. And I also think without having a backup player like him in that position, we need to change formations. Because otherwise, if we're just buying a Leon Bailey, we no longer have anybody to back him up other than a Lucas Moura who's already backing up the offensive midfielder position, or Bergwijn who's backing up Son's position.
Well, yeah, Lucas is backing it up because we had so many injuries in that area, and Dele Alli's form is off, right? So if we sell Dele,
Mhm.
and we sell. So this is what I want to sell. Like as I said, I want to sell 6 and buy 3. So I want to sell Dyer, Sanchez, Winks, Deli, Lamela. And the 6th one would be either if
It's got to be
Aurier,
Aurier, right?
if Aurier leaves at the end of his contract, right? That's that 6th, person, right?
Sure. What about Lloris? Where does he fit in?
Well, I think you keep him for a year and let him go on a free. I mean,
I
he's
would
old.
agree.
He's old enough, and there are more important needs right now than getting 15 million for Eric or Lloris because he wants to go back to. He's going to go back to PSG anyway, right? So if you're
Sure.
PSG, unless you're going to swap him for Areola, right?
Mhm.
Like I wouldn't mind doing a straight swap for Areola.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be
That
great.
would be the easiest solution.
But if you can't do that, I would say you just let him run his contract out and go on a free next year, and we worry about that next year, right? That position next year is what I would say.
And would you do the same for Toby then?
No. So I mean, after you sell those 6 and you buy 3, right?
Mhm.
I think that if you bring in a center back with a lot of man smell,
Okay.
right? And you bring in either if Aurier ends up going, you bring in a right back,
Mhm.
or I think that Tanganga can really fill in that spot too. I think that he's got a lot of potential there. You have Doherty and Tanganga. When Tanganga has come in and played, I don't see him as being any less effective as Aurier, to be honest with you, even in the attack.
Is he good? Is he good at attacking though? Is he fast and he can cross the ball in?
I would say Tang is fast. His crosses ins have been fairly good so far. He doesn't have the goal contribution or assist that Aurier has, but he's only played two matches.
And do you think Lamela is a bigger liability than Doherty?
No, so my issues with Lamela is not his liability, right? So the 30 yellow cards that he's gotten over the course of his career with Tottenham is not an issue. I don't think as Lamela is being a liability. I think as Lamela, if you're an attacking player, there's a certain level of attacking returns that you must provide every season or you don't play. Right? Like I said, if you're going to play Lamela as a number 8, right? Like as in Sissoko's role, I think it would actually be he could be really effective there for the team. I mean, think about it, if you had Erik Lamela's work rate as a number 8 with his creative and pass completion rate, right?
Why not keep him instead of Sissoko then?
I would. I mean, if you're going to play
That's
him
the
as a
point that
number
I've been
8,
making.
if you're going to play him as a number 8, like I've said that a million times, if he's playing as a number 8, we keep him. If he's playing as a number 10 and as a number 11, then no.
And I think that's the point that I've been trying to argue, because I think with listening to Mourinho speak, he's been making the point that he wants to play with 5 and back. And if we're getting rid of both Sanchez and Dyer, it sounds like we need to get 2 center backs.
Yeah.
2 center backs. And so let's say if we sell those 6 players that you had mentioned, we'd be lucky to get about 100 million in this economy right now. So if we were to spend on, let's say, 2 actually decent center backs that are in the range of 30 to 40 mil, then we're also needing to replace Aurier. I just don't see where the money is going to come for the attacking side.
No, I understand your point. I think that 2 center backs is too much. I think that Rodon is showing promise.
We're not getting rid of Sanchez.
I think
I don't think we're getting rid of him either yet.
I think Rodon has a possibility. If you're going to play 3 at the back, then does Doherty now become a viable option?
I think he does as a wing back.
Right. So I mean, because that's what he played under Wolves, right? It's the back 4 that he's struggling in.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to actually make the most use out of him. But then does Tanganga play as a wing back or does he play as a right center back?
You could play him as right center back. I think you could play him as this is the thing. There are different players when you switch them around that I think would be really good.
Mhm.
I think I've said it before. I've said it to Tottenham. We are Tottenham TV, and I've said it lots of places that if you were to play Aurier as a right winger, I think he'd do a really good job.
I would agree.
I really do. I think he would do a great job as a number 11, where he has no defensive responsibilities other than just kind of helping out. Right, like he's not the last man on that right side. I think he would do really well. I mean, his crosses into the box, the goals that he has as a right back is admirable. Erik Lamela, like I said, I don't have a problem with Erik Lamela as a person or even as a player. I have a problem with Erik Lamela as an attacking player because over
Likewise.
the last 4 years, his attacking returns have been abysmal. And so
I
I
think
just
he's being
don't.
played in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't understand the venomous defense of him.
Yeah, my defense is coming from the fact that I don't think we have the money to spend on a replacement, and as the cheapest option for somebody who could fill in better than Sissoko in the same role. To me, it's a no-brainer to keep him. And even if we were to get somebody like a Leon Bailey and actually splash the money to do so, then we would still be needing somebody as a backup for Europa games for if Leon were to get injured. Because imagine even if Son gets injured and Leon ends up becoming the first choice to go play on the left side, and Bergwijn's not having a great season either, then we're in trouble. Then you need somebody to fill in that role. And I think also if we're going to go on stats, there's another good website that puts all of the top 5 the top 5 leagues together, and then accumulates the stats for all the attacking midfielders and the wingers. And if you see the pressure, Lamela falls into the top 90th percentile. Tackles, he falls into the 97th percentile. Dribbles completed the 93rd.
What about successful tackles?
That's only counting successful tackles. It's not attempted tackles. Then if we're counting progressive passes, he's high up there. Pass completion in the 89th percentile. So I think he actually does have a lot of decent attributes, just not as a right winger that's expected to score. In the same way that I actually think Bergwijn would be better as a right wing back than he is as a forward anymore.
Are you sure that's successful tackles? Because there's
Yes.
tackles 262, only 192 are successful.
Yeah, they're showing it as successful completed tackles.
Okay. Yeah, because even with if I were to drop this out, put in Gareth Bale, like everybody's been saying he doesn't defend.
Mhm.
And we're to go by this season, Erik Lamela actually has more appearances than him, and I believe even more minutes. Matches. About a little bit more. But if you look at the defending statistics, tackles only 5 tackle difference, successful tackles only 3 tackle difference. But when you go into actual defensive stats that actually mean something, like clearances, headed clearances, and aerial battles won, Gareth Bale is far superior to Erik.
Yeah, because I think Victor's point is there are a lot of people that are gonna leave the team right now, right? Like Sissoko, Dele Alli, and if we sell those guys, then maybe Lamela is gonna stay to play as a number 8 backup.
If he stays and plays as a number 8 backup, I've got no problem with him staying. Right?
Yeah.
I've said that on multiple channels for months now. Right? If he's playing as a number 8, I would embrace that all the time. But the problem is that I've never seen him play as a number 8. Not one time.
Yeah.
Do I think he'd do a better job than Moussa Sissoko this season? Absolutely. So if Erik Lamela wants to play, why isn't he playing alongside Ndombele and more in the middle, Gareth Bale on the right, Kane up top, Son on the left, right, Regular on the thing, Aurier on the right? Right? Why aren't we seeing that lineup? If that's a possibility, why are we not seeing that?
I think right now it's because we don't have the defenders to actually pull off a 3-5-2. And I think if we were to actually invest into the two center backs that might be needed, into possibly a right back or a center midfielder, then because I'm looking at it as Lamela would be probably like fourth or fifth in the pecking order in the midfield. He would literally be a squad player. And in my mind, he would go ahead of somebody like a Harry Winks or a Musa Sissoko, or even looking at Aurier, who no longer wants to actually be at the club. Those are sales that have to happen and replacements that need to be put in place. Whereas you have somebody like Lamela who's ready and willing to jump into multiple different roles, to work hard for the team off the ball, and would see maybe 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and a Europa game. I would prefer to have him as like a third string center midfielder than have either of those guys.
I'd rather have Erik Lamela than Harry Winks, right?
Right.
For sure. But what I'm saying is, when Erik Lamela starts, we lose matches. I'd like to see that stat. I wonder if I'd have to get Matt Hayes to pull that one up or something. But what are the losses for every time he started? Because the thing that really got me down on Lamela, even in the first place, was in the 18-19 season when he was starting on the left over Son under Pochettino. It really made me mad. Really made me mad.
And that's fair resentment to hold. He should have never been starting over somebody like Son or somebody like Bale. But as a backup, I don't think it's a fair criticism to say that he's not good enough to back one of those players up.
Okay, I'll concede that. You've changed my mind a little bit on that.
Yeah, I don't think he's a starter. I certainly don't think he's our best player in that position.
Yeah.
But my view is that I would rather have Mora as that backup.
But if we get more money for Mora, would you like sell Mora down? You know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of also like playing musical chairs. So let's say Mora moves over to the wing, and then we have Ndombele and Lo Celso as the offensive midfielders. And then we have, let's say, Skip and Højbjerg as our holding midfielders. Who backs them up now?
Well, I mean, so
If we were to
would be
sell
a
Winks.
backup. So that's the thing about Mora, is because he's proven that he can play as a number 10, right? You can have Mora back up not only a right winger position, but he can also back up a midfielder position. So the only time that would become an issue is if the right winger and the center midfielder were injured at the same time.
Right, and that happens during a season.
And then, but you don't think that you're serious? But you'd have Højbjerg, Ndombele, and Oliver Skip. So you're playing 3-5-2, right?
Sure. And then let's say for offensive midfielder, you have what, Lucas and Lo Celso?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really good at number 8. I don't know if you guys remember that one game that we played 4-4-2. Lo Celso wasn't really good.
Celso's played in number 8 several times.
I actually think that's his better position.
I agree. I think he's better at his 8 than he is as 10.
Really?
So let's say we have 3 center midfield positions. One is an attacking midfield, and then 2 are holding center midfielders, or a double pivot. And we have Højbjerg, we have Skip, we have Ndombele, we have Lo Celso, and we have Lucas. We're still missing one as a backup.
Well, you have right backs in there.
What do you mean right backs?
So in a 3-5-2, you have 3 center backs, 3 midfielders, 2 wing backs, and 2 strikers.
Got it. I'm talking about the 4-2-3-1 that we play right now. So we have 2 holding midfielders and 1 attacking midfielder in that triangle in the middle.
Right. So you'd have Højbjerg and Skip, and Ndombele in the 10.
Okay.
Right. Then you have Son and Bailey, if we sign Bailey, and Kane.
Okay. And then who are the backups?
So you have Bergwijn, Mora, Lo Celso. 3 backups.
But what about for center mid? For the double pivot?
Mora and Lo Celso. Or for the double pivot?
Yeah, because now if you're playing Skip and Højbjerg, who backs them up?
That's a good question.
Because if we sell Winks and Sissoko, we no longer have a backup in those positions.
Right, and so that's
where I was saying the money is better spent elsewhere than trying to replace a replacement.
Yeah.
So what I mean, but my concern is I see Gareth Bale leaving before anybody else.
Right.
Right.
Well, it could go either way.
I would hope if I looking at the numbers, right? I know people don't like Bale now based on his comments, but looking at these numbers right here, especially in
He's been
defense,
doing well, right? He's been doing well recently.
I think that the hurt, or I guess you could say the criticisms that he's received as far as defending is concerned is misplaced, right? Because you're talking to a guy who's played less minutes and less matches than Lamela and has better defensive statistics this season than Lamela.
Yeah, I think Bale is clearly the superior player between the two. And he's a world-class player, somebody that we're not going to be able to purchase.
Yeah, and so what I'm saying is why is he getting so much hate for his defensive work when his statistics are better than Lamela's, but Lamela's getting praise for his defensive work?
I think it's recency bias.
It's because of the Arsenal game.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but that's the contradiction that bothers me.
But I personally don't criticize Bale for the lack of effort. I think he's done incredibly well considering the small amount of time he's played.
But the Twitter sphere does, my friend. The Twitter sphere does. The
Yeah,
fan
everybody's
channels,
critic.
the fan channel sphere does, right? And for me, I appreciate because I didn't realize that the Premier League site was a piece of crap and was completely making that minutes played stat worthless. And I appreciate honestly because I'm a person that doesn't like to get numbers wrong. So I appreciate pointing that out to me and fair play to you for looking that up.
Yeah, no worries.
And you've actually changed my mind, made me think about it in a little bit different way. And I would say that you have to play if you're going to keep Erik Lamela, then it has to be as a backup for Højbjerg or Skip.
Yeah, and really also as kind of like a Swiss Army knife, where he could be deployed in a number of different positions depending on injuries or cards, or even the ease of a game. If we're, God forbid, in qualifiers for Europa again, to even get into the group stage, then that's a decent time to play him rather than expending our top players.
Yeah, and so I just think that with four midfielders, that if you have four quality midfielders, so Højbjerg, Skip, Ndombele, and Lo Celso, and then Mora, who can also fill in there. That's five guys filling three spots, right? That's five guys covering three spots, and then Mora can also cover a right wing if he has to. I don't think you need a cover. I don't think you would need one cover for each position. Right? I think having guys that can work in different places is better. Because right now, honestly, we don't have a cover for Son. Right, the gap in quality between our bench and the starter is enormous.
Yeah, and to clarify the point too, I do think that this is the year that we're able to receive the optimal value for Lamela, given his injury and his age. That this would be the year to move him.
Because the only other option would be to give him another contract next year, right? You can't sell him next year. His contract ends next year. So if you don't move him on this year, he goes on a free, and we get zero for him, nothing for him. And if you give him another contract, that's I think is an absolute.
Let me ask you this: what do you think is the likelihood that we sell Son next year, or that he wants to leave?
His son wants to leave. I think that it's just a first time on the show, right? First time watching, maybe too. I don't know. You may have watched other stuff. I don't know. The likelihood of Son leaving is high, I think.
I think so too.
Maybe not this season, but definitely within the next 2 seasons.
I don't think he wants to leave, but if you get 100 million for him, then I think Tottenham will sell him. But I don't think
I think his father wants him to leave.
I think I think it's not necessarily that his father wants him to leave. I think that it's more around the fact that that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this since you guys aren't showing pictures. I'll make my face big. I think it's that there's no ambition here, right? And so it's the fact that there's nothing. Why should he stay? Why should he stay? If you're that player, and you're only making 200 grand a month, that's with the new contract, right? He's not making 200 grand a week now. Why would you stay if there's a bigger club who you're guaranteed to win not only domestic trophies but international trophies as well? You know, you're talking not internationals and international, but internationals in the Champions League and Europa League. Why would you stay at Spurs? For what purpose does Son Heung-min? What does Son Heung-min owe Tottenham Hotspur, other than what he's already given?
Yeah, I don't think he owes us anything.
Exactly. And like DM said, if I was Son, I'd leave. I agree with you. I would. And if Real Madrid or Man City or Barcelona said, "Hey, we're gonna pay you 300 million a week, and 300 million euros a week," and then you're guaranteed to be at least winning domestic trophies and or Champions League, why wouldn't you go? Why wouldn't you go? And that's why I think it's so silly. It's like everybody is so adamant that Son is going to stay when they have zero. You don't understand. Harry Kane has a lot of pressure being the English captain, but there are a ton of famous English players all over the world. Son is the most famous Asian player in the entire world, right? And he has the weight of all of South Korea on his shoulders. And my man Wayne Bonner here, I just think we're in big trouble, Victor. You've got me even more worried than I was before.
Well, this is what I've been trying to look at it from the lens of is there's a lot of sales that need to happen. There's a lot of positions that need to be filled. And to do it in the most intelligent way possible, it seems like we need to build from the back forward. If Son's contract is going to end in 2023, the summer of 23, that means next summer is the more likely year he leaves. And with that money, a big influx from one single player, that could be used to then bolster the offense. Because right now, if we're going to keep, let's say, Son and Kane, and if we, knowing the board, they're going to go for the cheapest, easiest option, which is Bale, another loan. We have 3 world-class forwards. It seems like at that point, getting somebody like a Leon Bailey would probably be preemptive. When we need at least one center back, we probably need a Lloris replacement. We need a right back. I'd much rather go for somebody like Basuma in the midfield to bolster that position, and then kind of lean on Bale and Lamela as his backup for one more year. I would give if it was up to me.
I agree with you, and I've even said this several times. Even Lamela as a right winger is better than him playing in the number 10. I do not understand why he keeps coming in as a 10. I don't get it. If you watch,
I think it's a coaching mistake.
He comes on the field for Bale, subs Bale out. Lucas leaves the 10 spot, goes to the right, and Lamela's playing in the middle. Erik Lamela is not a number 10. He's not.
I think part of the strategy with Lucas and Lamela is they interchange pretty frequently. So they kind of have a fluid relationship in that role where they drift in and out.
And that's fine as long as they're covering for each other. Like, I don't mind the dynamics of play in the moment, right? But I'm talking about how they set up, even from, say, when we concede a goal and they set up for the restart. Moore's on the right, Lamela sitting in the 10 spot, even though he came on for Gareth Bale. That's the frustrating part for me, right? When he's on the right, it's better. But the problem is he always wants to creep left, and that's okay if you're playing in an inverted winger in a 4-2-3-1 type situation, and you have wing backs or fullbacks that are, doing overlaps on both sides of the field, getting into space. I don't mind if you get sucked in or if you make runs, coming into the box. It's just, for me, it's the frustrating part is that there's just no. I feel it's such a weight, especially if we were to give him another contract. It seems like just a waste of space. It seems a waste of a foreigner spot. It seems a waste of wages to be paying someone who's contributed one season stats as an attacking player over the last 4 seasons. To me, it just seems a waste. Now I get it. We're in dire straits, right? We're in a bad spot. And so do we have to keep a bad player and let him go on the free at the end of next year?
But I think it's better to actually get rid of the players that have bad attitude. Like
I agree.
Sissoko.
I'm not saying
Sissoko.
Lamela's attitude is poor. I've never said his attitude is poor. I said
Yeah,
he's a
like that.
warrior.
Yeah.
Right. He's the Punisher. He's the Punisher. Like I said, I've said it a million times. We're up. It's 2-3-0, and you want to close out a game. You take off somebody. You take off Bale or do whatever. You bring on Lamela and you let him break some ankles. Right. You let him go in, press. Hassle players on the pitch. You're playing a particular team that has maybe a really, aggressive or a really dangerous, attacking player, and you want someone to come on and man mark him. Erik Lamela is your guy, right? Erik Lamela is your guy.
Because Sissoko and Delhi and all that,
But if you're
all that needs to go, right? So if we need to replace them,
I mean, does Delhi really need to go though?
he's not even playing Europa League, right? Like,
I think he needs to leave based on the value that he would bring
Exactly.
in, and then the
he's
player
English.
that we could
He has
replace him
English
with.
tag as well.
So would you sell him for 20 million to PSG? Is that a fair value for Dele Alli?
I think we should
I think
sell
we'll be able
for
to
the
get more.
English team since he has English tag.
Well, that's true. We do have Sessegnon coming back. Forgot about Sessegnon.
Yeah, Oliver Skip's gonna be good though, like from his performance.
So are we all in agreement that Davies is leaving this season?
Ben Davies?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty dependent again on who we can bring in.
So you have Reguilon and Sessegnon.
Sure. Let's say we're playing with a 3-man back line,
Right.
just for argument's sake, and we keep Toby, so Toby plays in the middle. Let's say again, for argument's sake, we keep somebody like Sanchez, and he could be Tanganga's backup as a right center back.
Okay.
Rodon would be Toby's backup. Let's say we spend the money on somebody like Botman, who's a left-footed center back to play on the left side. If we're going to buy a backup for him as well, that would be an additional, let's say even 20-30 million to tack onto the price of somebody the quality of Botman, which might be 40. So we're spending 70 million almost on 2 left center backs. Or you have Davies, who plays left center back at Wales. That would be easier to move on the following year than it would be that year. Knowing that, again, let's say for somebody like Davies, he might play a Europa League game here and there, and you might still preference playing Rodon as a backup.
Right.
For
And
Botman.
so I hear what you're saying. But what do you do about his minutes?
What do you mean for Davies?
Yeah. Because just like in Football Manager, people don't like sitting on the bench, right? Harry Winks has made that pretty obvious.
I think Davies isn't so unrealistic with his ability.
I would hope.
Yeah, not compared to somebody like Winks in that same situation.
Okay, but my question is, why do we change formation to 3 at the back just because of Matt Doherty? I really like the 4-2-3-1. I think it's the best formation. But you say we should change the formation because we have Matt Doherty, right?
No. I'm not saying we should. This is what Mourinho has come out with in multiple press conferences or interviews. talking about that is his preferred formation.
He wants to play the 3-5-2. Really?
Yeah, that's what he played at Chelsea, right? It was a 3-4-3. So if we were to stick with that, then we would need somebody like Bale, and again a backup for that right wing side position.
Yeah.
A 3-4-3 is different than a 3-5-2 because then you don't need as many backups in the midfield, right? As far as is the reason for keeping Lamela. Then you're looking at attacking the three up at top, having at least two fill-in spots being essential to that position, which we don't have right now.
Yeah, I actually think if we change to that position, it's a no-brainer that Lamela leaves.
Yeah, 3-4-3, I would say 4-2-3-1, maybe. I mean, but definitely if you're only playing two midfielders, I personally like, this is my personal favorite formation, is a 4-1-3-2, which is basically a
Is it like a diamond or something?
It's a 4-4-2. It's not quite a diamond, but yeah, it's like a 4-4-2 diamond. It's very similar to a 4-4-2 diamond. But basically, what it is you have two attacking players. It would be whether it be Kane Son or Kane Vinicius or or Kane Tony or whoever's playing in that attacking role, and then you have three midfielders, like similar to how you'd play in a 4-2-3-1, right? That same type of player across the three. And then you have one really strong center defensive midfielder who kind of drops in between the lines. He holds a lot more and drops in between the lines to kind of turn into back five. So it's really more like a 5-3-2, but you're playing it. The focus is a little bit more attacking. And so that center defensive midfielder, I call him a center defensive midfielder. He's Mo Escobar, yes, it's very similar to that, to Leeds. It's similar to Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds formation.
It's similar
What
to Leeds.
formation is Chelsea under Tuchel is playing right now? Since they're doing so well. Do you guys know?
He's playing 3-4-3 at Chelsea, isn't he? No,
3-4-3.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's what he prefers.
I just like the 4-2-3-1. I think it's the most balanced.
The 4-2-3-1 gets blown up so much.
Like the four in the middle, the two center back and two defensive midfield. That's very strong. Like that square formation, that's very strong.
It depends on it depends on if you're playing against 4-3-3s, right? If you're playing against a 4-4-2, you get outnumbered real quick. If you're playing against even a 3-5-2 that attacks, that has good attacking players, the number imbalances in the defensive third are significant.
Yeah.
In a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
It really depends on who you're playing against, and that's why you have to have a versatile squad. We also got Juan Foyth coming back. That's true. I'm looking at comments, but I'm not putting him up. Sorry, guys. Pochettino's broadcast manager. Yeah. Would much rather have another Mora instead of Dele. So happy when Josie honest with Dele in the documentary. No, I agree. I do like Leeds formation. Yeah, so 4-1-3-2 is like a 4-4-2, but it's like a 4-4-2 diamond. So you have the way that it's a little bit different is that.
So it's a 4-1-2-1-2, right? So 4-1-3-2.
It's a 4-1-3-2, and what it is it's you could also call it a 4-4-2 diamond, but it's basically you have a left mid, a right mid, a center attacking mid, a center defensive mid, and then two
striker, yeah.
A number 9 and then a false 9, right? So especially if we were to bring in Paulo Dybala, that formation would be amazing. You got Kane, Dybala, right, in the two up top, with Son on the right, Son on the left, Bale on the right, Ndombele and Højbjerg in the middle.
But did Poch play that formation and then we lost to Juventus a lot?
I don't think Poch ever played a 4-1-3-2.
I like that formation a lot too. I see he played a lot at River Plate.
Yeah, it's a really strong formation, and what it allows you to do is it's almost kind of like playing a 2-3-3-2. Really, if you really think about it, it's effective, and it makes the center of the pitch really tight, and then it really defends as a 4-4-2. Right, so in defense you're in a 4-4-2, but in attack you can even get to the point where you're attacking 2-5-2, all right, or 6-2. It can be dangerous if you have the right players. Barcelona played that style similarly for a while. With Busquets kind of being the holding midfielder. 15 million for Foyth. Yeah, we can sell Foyth. There's a lot of loan players. We've got Sessegnon, Skip, Foyth, Gazzaniga. What's your thought about Gazzaniga, Victor? Do you think I never had a problem with. Do I think he's great? No, but could he get the job done if he had to fill in for, say, till the next winter transfer window? I mean,
I think he could. I think he's proven the season that he did have the playing time that he would be an okay backup. But I think it would be a mistake to hold him long term.
Yeah, he's getting up on age. I didn't realize how old he was until I looked the other day. He's like 29 years old or something like that. I thought he was like 24, 25. I didn't realize he was that old.
No, if he was younger, he might have had a chance.
Yeah, imagine a 4-1-2-3, 4-1-2-3. 4-1-2-3 with Kellen Phillips, Hoiberg, and Billy with Celso. 4-2-3-1 or 4-1-2-3? I've never heard of a 4-1-2-3. 4-3-3 with like a 4-3-3 attack. If you want to go like FIFA style.
Yeah, it would line up like a 4-3-3.
Yeah, Kevin Phillips. I like Phillips. I think Phillips is a player, dude. I really do. I don't think he'll ever leave Leeds though for any small amount of money. Not only is that his hometown, but I think he would cost a fortune. I really do. And that's another thing that really irritates me is with the guys that we've got in this squad that how many players we've missed for such reasonable amounts of money absolutely makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, I heard that we could have gotten Bruno Fernandes and Jack Grealish, right? Imagine if we got
Bruno Fernandes had agreed to personal terms with Tottenham, right? He had agreed to personal terms with Tottenham, and the deal went down over like 10 million pounds, which is retarded. I mean, think about what we would. If we would have gotten Champions League football this year, that would have made up that 10 million pounds right then and there. So I don't understand the logic that Daniel Levy has in trying to milk every last dime out of a player in order to save what. And then you got Jack Grealish we could have signed for 7 million or 5 million or whatever, and we didn't do it, over a couple million pounds.
Yeah.
I think that with our squad right now, if you drop Bruno Fernandes in that side, we finish top 4 easy. Just Bruno Fernandes, that one player.
We really need a good number 10.
I mean, what do you think about that, Victor? Do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, I think even just for the mentality, he would improve the team drastically. His ability to sort of win games on his own back.
You got to jump on these shows more often, Victor. I see you in the chat all the time. But you got some good opinions, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah,
and they're solid too. They're solid. I know you've thrown some comments at me in the chat a couple times, but talking to you, your opinions are good, man. Straight on. You need to come on these shows more often.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I've tried to be as level as I can. I think I get a little fired up when it comes to the fans that kind of go back and forth with one player has one bad game. It's the same reason why I don't think Bale is necessarily due to leave.
What do you think about Sanchez, though?
I've been Lamela out since 18-19, my friend. So I definitely I'm not going back and forth. It's not a one game thing for me. I've been on the Lamela out train since 18-19 season.
Do you think
Yeah,
we should
it's been a
sell
while.
Sanchez, Victor?
I think Sanchez could turn into a decent
Yeah, I think he's
squad
redeemable.
center back. I don't think he's necessarily the best starting center back. I would eventually use somebody like Tanganga ahead of him, but I think he could be useful within the mix.
I think Tottenham fans have been really unfair to him. I don't know.
So Victor, you're gaining popularity now. Swerve Pathak wants to know your thoughts on Jose.
Oof. I think if we're having trouble buying players, we're going to have a lot of trouble firing him. And I think if we're looking at where that 30 mil could be spent, it's better spent on players than it is starting a new project in the middle of this one. Especially if we're about to offload, let's say, those 6 players that everybody's sort of in agreement about. I think let him see out his contract and see where it goes from there. Let him buy these players to fill out the positions, and give it the entire time that we've asked for.
Yeah, I say you take him to. I see you right. This is my thing on it. I didn't want Jose to be our manager in the first place anyway, right? I'm not a Jose fanboy.
I would agree.
To be honest with you, I thought when I first heard that he was Potts' replacement, I was devastated. To be frank, I really was. I was
I don't
devastated.
blame you.
After the shit show that went on at United, I was completely devastated when I heard it. But then it kind of grew on me. It really did. And, obviously the documentary helped, right? All the propaganda that threw out. But and also too, seeing the results and seeing the success that we had in the first half of the season, and then seeing the performance from the players and what made that difficult. It was, I think, why waste the money and the time?
Right.
Because, yeah, we may see a 4 or 5 game bounce, but then after that, with the squad that we have right now, we're going to see the exact same results. So why not let him? Why not let him roll to the end of his contract? Give him another transfer window and see what can happen. Because I think that we're in our starting 11. I think we're maybe 2 or 3 players away from a Champions League winning squad, not just competitive, but winning. I really do.
I
Because I think that a lot of the center backs that we have, if we could get in one quality cement, like let's say, I mean, obviously a Van Dijk type player, a player like Van Dijk with that much man smell, right? If we had one center back like that, when you have a player that's that confident and that demanding, his success spills out onto the people around him, right? It's just like how Toby improves our side regardless of who's playing next to him, right? And I wouldn't say that Toby's at Virgil van Dijk's level, right? So when you have that kind of leader in the back line, you can really get away with maybe having a Gomez type player or something like that alongside of them, which I think Tanganga and even Sanchez himself, I think he's only 24 years old. He could turn into a fairly decent, center back over time. And one good, I think we need a defensive midfielder more than we need a straight up like a number 10 type player.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you can move Ndombele up into the number 10, and you've got Lo Celso who can play backup. They can rotate each other out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing is, I think if you have decent players, you don't need necessarily a permanent backup, right? Because you can just start doing a Pep Guardiola, just kind of you never know who's starting the next week because the 1 or 2 players in those positions get switched out every week. And when you're switched out, when you have regular rest, your injury rate is a lot lower until you get old. Right? If you look at other than the back line at City, and then Aguero because he's old, they don't have a whole lot of injury issues in their midfield because they're rotated out so much. Right? There's so much rotation in the side that but the problem is we can't rotate.
No, the level drops.
They have so much ammunition, City.
We can't rotate anyone now. You take out, so who you gonna rotate Son with? Perfine? Lamela? More?
Exactly.
Who you gonna rotate Kane with? Vinicius? Who you gonna rotate Højbjerg with? Winks? I mean, come on. We have no rotation at all. Our squad is in bad shape, dude. It's in bad shape.
Yeah,
it
it is.
really is.
City
In
won
really
without
bad
Bruno
shape.
Fernandes. I mean Kevin De Bruyne, right? Kevin
They
De Bruyne was
did fine.
yeah.
I had Gundogan in my FPL side, and I got a ton of points off of Gundogan. I'll tell you that right now. I triple captained his butt one season, got a buttload of points.
Nice. Nice.
He's you know, I think there's a couple City players we could probably go in for that don't get a lot of playing time. I think Mirez is underrated over at City. Mahrez, or however you want to pronounce it.
We could take Kyle Walker back as a right back if he wants to come back.
Troy Parrott. I don't think Troy Parrott's that ready, dude. I really don't. What do you think about Troy Parrott, Victor? I just think he's just. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to end up being like a Hansen issue.
Yeah, I think sort of on the same lines where it's not really going to pan out, especially to the level of somebody like Scarlett, who is going to be the heir to Kane. And I actually like that the 4-1-3-2 shout. I think that's the only way that we can actually attract somebody like Ivan Toney, knowing that he would actually have game time, that there's a starting position for him to fight for. And also, too, if Kane is able to stay for, let's say, four or so more seasons and play into his 30s, then you could actually have somebody like Scarlett playing alongside of him rather than just a perpetual backup.
Yeah. I honestly, I think Ivan Toney. I've been watching almost on a nightly basis. Just Ivan Toney, and when I try to find like highlight videos, I try to look for the all touch ones.
Mhm.
So not just the positive ones. I think those are deceptive, right? Because you can pick across multiple seasons and grab the best, shots that you can get and make a 5 or 6 minute video out of it. I like to watch a single game where it's like all touches for this player. That's the ones that I like to watch because you're seeing not only you're seeing every time they touch the ball, so you're seeing their mistakes and you're seeing their positive aspects of it. And for me, the way that just his passes, I've never seen a striker that at his age drop and play deep and play creatively like Kane does. Because there's not another striker in the Premier League right now, except for maybe Bobby Firmino, who does that at all. And you've got one now who's scoring 24, 26, 28 goals. I don't even know what his goal record is now. I haven't looked at his stats in a couple of weeks, but and there's so many games in the championship that he could have 10 more goals that I don't even know about. And plus 10 assists.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic player. And I think if we have any sort of chance of competing, we need to strengthen every position to, like what you were saying, there's a rotation involved, and that the level doesn't drop so severely when we have to play Sissoko Winks, when we have to play Doherty instead of Aurier. And I think that's what's been killing us the most, especially with the schedule of modern soccer, is it's just not you're not able to just have one stellar starting team and then a backup squad.
Yeah, I'm gonna share this again. He's 25 years old, right? And if I scroll down over here, I mean it's very similar to Harry Kane's heat map. If you remember my post from earlier, he's played 36 matches so far. He's been team of the week 8 times. He's got 28 goals and 9 assists. He scores every 110. But look, this is the thing that really gets me. He's averaging 1.1 key passes per game. He's created 7 big chances on top of his 9 assists. And I bet if you were to look at other players in that, now granted, this is at the championship, but I think the championship is pretty. I think that the championship is every bit as good as Ligue 1.
Yeah, they're pretty similar.
If you were to pull, but what I'm saying is that's what's so weird is that people tend to rate players coming out of Lyon and Lille over players coming out of Brentford. But I bet I would be willing to bet that a lot of these championship teams would beat those, Ligue 1 sides. I think there's a lot of the championship teams. I think Brentford would wax most Bundesliga, Serie A and Liga sides. I think the top half of the table for the championship sides would compete with the bottom half of every domestic top division team. I really do. And
I think Lille's been pretty decent this year.
Well, Leo's been good, but I'm Lyon, right? So, I mean, because this kid's right here, I'm telling you, and at 25, he's not really a kid, but he's made Watkins look like a nobody.
And I think the only way we attract a player of that quality is if we guarantee 2 forward positions. And I actually do think it suits us better because it could get rid of the right wing issue altogether.
But look at that, dude. Look what we could have had.
Sure.
Instead of Vinicius. This might cost us 35 million, 40 million euros. 5.6. 5.6. Right? Loaned out, played in the Premier League, didn't, struggled at Newcastle. Was sold for less than 100 million or, $1 million. We're talking like Dele Alli money. And look, even if he were to get half of these numbers, right? That would be way better than what we've got now at possible 35, 40 million.
Yeah, that's a big improvement.
And it's too late now, right? He's won the Golden Boot in League One the year before. He's going to win the Golden Boot for the championship. And then he's going to cost 30, 40 million. And we could have had him for 5, 6. Right? You can't tell me that coming out of League One. And that's why I just don't get the scouting department. What is £5 million? If you really think about it on the scale that we're doing now. How much did we spend for Jack Clark?
What was it, 25 or 30?
Yeah, it was retarded.
Yeah. Yeah, they put us in a pretty bad position.
I mean, you're spending that much money on Jack Clark, who's a kid's like 17 years old, that hasn't been proven to do anything, right? Can barely get into championship sides, and then you could have spent 5 on Ivan Toney. You're going to tell me that Ivan Toney, even if he doesn't like Harry Kane, is going to choose Brentford over Tottenham Hotspur? Come on now.
What's his issue with Kane?
There was an interview that he did there's a podcast where he came on. He was a sole guest, and he did this podcast. And there was one Spurs supporter, and who's that goalkeeper? The black goalkeeper for England back in the day. Can't remember his name.
I'm drawing a blank too.
But anyway, he went on a podcast and said that Harry Kane was a selfish striker, and that he liked to pass a little bit more than Harry Kane. Harry Kane was a selfish striker. I don't think he's been selfish this season. It was early on in the season, so he probably got it wrong. But
most good strikers are selfish.
Yeah, that was his point.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that West Ham and Everton are going to be in the same next season, or is it just the fluke? Well, I just think it's everybody else is so bad, right? So poor. If you look at the points this season, it's pretty poor.
You think Skip is gonna do well when he comes back?
Yeah, I think Skip will do well, right? Do I think that Jack Clark and What's the other one? Troy
Son
Parrott
Heung-min.
are going to do well? No.
Yeah.
Sessegnon, I think, will be all right too. Right. I think there'll be players that'll be able to come up. I don't think Troy Parrott and Jack Clark have a future at the club.
I haven't given up on Clark yet. I think I've seen some flashes that he has ability, but it's going to take some playing time.
How old is he now? How old is he now?
He was supposed to be the new Heung-min Son, right?
He is 20.
Yeah. Too old. No, I'm saying, but if you're that old right now and you're not showing, right? I mean, you got look at Saka.
Well, he did pretty well for Leeds the year that he was alone there, and now it seems like when he's played at Stoke, he's played well, but the coach hasn't really given him much of a chance there.
Yeah, but Bielsa didn't give him much of a chance when we loaned him back to them either, right? So
True.
he's only played 14 matches. He's only started 6. He's only played an average of 42 minutes a game.
Yeah, for the price, it makes no sense. If it was something like a $5 or $10 million gamble, then it could have been okay to see if it panned out, but not at the price we bought him.
Yeah, we played 11 million for him. 11 million euros in 2019. 11 million for Jack Clark.
Yeah, it's not great.
And we could add Ivan Toney for 5.6. And he could have come in the team and actually helped right away. I don't know, man. I don't know. But his value has dropped significantly. His value right now is at, let's put it this way. SofaScore doesn't even give a value. That's how low his value is. Doesn't give a current value.
And that's a reoccurring theme. We did the same for Sissoko, for a lot of these players where we overpaid.
It seems we overpay for average players all the time.
Yeah.
And then don't fork up an extra 5 to 10 million for actual quality players. Like the Grealish thing. How could you do? I don't understand. It was only like 2 or 3 years ago.
Could have had Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes, Grealish. I mean, Dybala. What's your thoughts on Dybala, Victor?
I think he's too inconsistent. I think if you actually look at him in the Champions League, he's a phenomenal player. If you look at him in the league, it's pretty hit and miss. And I think his physicality isn't suited for the Premier League.
I agree, but if you're playing him as more of like a false 9, or it's more of a creative player, I think he could be pretty good.
I think a lot would depend on the coach and the formation and the playing style.
Yeah.
Because I think under our current regime, he wouldn't fit in well due to his lack of defensive effort.
Let's see. I don't know, dude. His stats is pretty high. His stats is pretty good.
Personally, watching him, I think he's better than Ronaldo at Juventus when he does play. But with his long-standing knee injury, I think we've all had enough of the injured players.
Yeah, he had a fairly significant injury period. Really had that many injuries.
I think if we're on the subject of Argentine players, there's probably 2 or 3 others that would be better suited.
Yeah, I definitely think Dybala. If we would have gotten him 2 or 3 years ago, I think would have been a better call.
Yeah, so he could
Now-
actually grow into the team.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age too, 27 now. You know, man, he's still worth a whole lot of money though. Whole lot of money.
I think
Even in the 11 matches he's played, though, he's had 2 goals and 2 assists.
he's a phenomenal talent.
Oh, look at that's a stat right there.
That's very impressive.
97% accuracy in the defensive third as far as like breaking lines, and passing accuracy 28%. Defensive stats aren't horrible. This one's bad, but it's for a person that playing that high up. Maybe it's not that bad. It's pretty hard to do it. Dribbles per game might be a little bit low. That's a super high stat for only playing that many. For only playing 11 matches for 60 minutes and to have 50 touches.
Yeah, and I would say too, this hasn't been anywhere close to his best season.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. 13% conversion rate. That's a high stat too, man. 13%. Well, granted, that's on a limited number of appearances, so that can be skewed. But still, I think that last season he was at a even better. Yeah, that was when he got Player of the Year, right? This is what we could have had if we would actually bought him last summer. 10 goals.
That would have been nice.
But yeah. And then 18-19 season, not quite as impressive. But that was funny that the season that we were supposed to get him was his best season out of the last couple. 22 goals. And where's the assist part? Why did that go away? 22 goals and 5 assists, man. Yeah. Although I'm a bit scared of Italian players because Lamela did pretty well in Serie A too. So.
It's a very different style.
Yeah. To get back to that, but anyway, let's grab some comments here. Good eye. Says Vic's got a good eye. Yeah, dude. I've been impressed with you with Vic. I've been impressed. You have to come on more often, man, when you have more time. At least with Jose. Vic Herrera map shows he's better than Christianity. Are we bringing religion into the conversation now, or is that a typo?
I think he means Dybala than Cristiano.
Yeah, Cristiano. But it was like Vic Herrera. Heat. Agreed. Wall Street Hotspur. Hello, Wall Street Hotspur. This is the first comment I think I've seen from you. Thanks for joining. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, forgive me. I have a great long-term memory, but a fairly poor short-term memory. Good point, Will. Which one? Which one? Yeah, who we got watching here? We got that one mysterious Twitch person. Do you think that maybe that Twitch person, for folks that have watched the channel, there's been this mysterious Twitch person who's watched every single show. Do you think it counts Twitch as one person regardless if there's somebody watching on Twitch or not?
Oh, that's you. Yeah.
I'm not watching it, though. I don't have it open. I'm streaming to Twitch. Does it count myself as a live viewer? Because it doesn't count me as one on YouTube. I don't know much about Twitch, to be honest with you, because I don't play a lot of games.
Yeah, I think so. I think it always starts at 1.
Oh.
I'm not sure. Twitch and YouTube are both pretty new to me.
YouTube, I'm fairly familiar with. Facebook, because like for instance, Facebook right now is showing 0, but it was at 2 earlier. So that means that 2 people have gone on and then gone off, right? Periscope sometimes will pop up as 1 or 2, but it says 0 now too. So I don't understand. Twitch person, if you're there, if you're an actual live person on Twitch, please put in the comments, just put like a number 1 in the comments or something to let us know that you're alive, that you're okay, that you're not a bot or something.
Doing a wellness check.
A wellness check. Well, thank you, Wall Street Hotspur. I appreciate that for joining the stream. And here's another. I'll throw the link in there too. If anybody else wants to jump on, you're welcome. We're probably going to be going for another 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to call it a night. That will be our 3 hours. I'm going to try to go on tomorrow. The topic tomorrow is going to be defense. I'm going to try to get Marcelo on because he's the defense expert.
Marcelo?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Marcelo. Do you know Marcelo, Will?
Yeah. He's on Matt Hayes.
Matt Hayes, Irish Hotspur, We Are Tottenham TV,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I'm gonna have to send him a message tomorrow and be like, dude, I'm doing a show on defense, and I'm gonna need your support because outside of fullbacks, center backs are not my specialty. So my son has never played as a center back, so I don't research center back tactics.
Your son plays at fullback?
He has in the past for ODP. He's played right back a couple times.
That's like the hardest position in soccer, right? Do you think?
What's that? Right back?
Fullback in general.
A lot of
You have
running.
to run a
You
lot,
have to be
yeah.
good on the ball, and you have to be able to do a lot of running. My son's an animal. He averages about 4.3 kilometers per half per 40 minutes. So he runs a lot. He's 13. And yeah. Yep. He's got pretty good statistics too. I think he's for this season he's at out of we've played 11 games and he has 4 goals, 3 assists, and 7 big chances created.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, he plays at the ECNL level here in the U.S., which is the ECNL Regional League, which is like if you were to take MLS next as being professional, as far as youth kids are concerned, he plays at the number 3 level. So there's MLS next, ECNL NL, and ECNL RL, which is very,
So it's like League One, right? We're talking about.
Yeah. So that's where he plays. But yeah, he's only been playing for about 3 or 4 years, so hopefully he does well. Who we got here? Karen McDonald. I'm going to add you to the stream. I hope you're ready. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you came over from the Irish Hotspur.
Yeah, from Dave, the Irish Hotspur. Big up, Irish Hotspur, Harris Army. Yeah.
So tell us a little about yourself, man.
man.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks. The Wall Street Hotspur says, thanks for making this, Will, so us Americans can tune in. Yeah, no, it's open to everybody. And the cool thing about it is that it's been fairly successful pretty quick. I mean, like, I haven't checked lately, but it's close to 150 subscribers and over 2,000 views in the first week. So, I mean, this is all for you guys. And that's why I open it up to everybody. I think, for the late night show, if you think of me as like the Conan O'Brien of Spurs content, this is the late show, and it's fairly informal. We just kind of come on here and talk about Tottenham Hotspur. So, America. That's what Dave said.
I love it, man. I really appreciate you doing this. It's awesome. I was kind of hoping that something like this would happen because, like you mentioned, with the time difference, it can be hard to I've been a viewer of We Are Tottenham TV and Dave's show for a while. I haven't been able to hop on one of the We Are Tottenham TV call-ins because of the time difference, A lot of times, I'm working or whatever. And then I've thought about jumping on for one of the post-game things, but it seems a lot of times when I can, it's after a loss. And I don't want to go on and just complain after a loss. That's not good for anybody.
Well, I mean,
But
for me too.
yeah.
Yes, for me too. I'll jump on, and that was the thing is I couldn't come on consistently. You might see me, and then you don't see me for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you see me, and then you don't see me for 2 or 3 weeks. And it's simply because that in my house, or if you did see me, it was because I was in my garage, right? Because the show was at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I have, a wife and 3 boys, so the house is fairly noisy at normal hours of the day, and at 9:30 to 10:30, I can tell them, go to bed. I got to do a live stream, or I got to get on live and jump on. So, but yeah, I just figured between the hours of probably 7 p.m. to on the East Coast to 2 a.m. on the East Coast, there's nothing. It's like a dead space. So why not fill it? Why not fill it with something?
It's pretty late for you
I
now,
like that
right? On the East Coast.
Yeah, I like that you've done that, and I'll definitely be coming on more. Yeah, I didn't get a chance. I was driving, listening to the whole stream, so I didn't get a chance to comment or jump in. But I got home and I was like, yeah, let me jump in for a minute, because I'll definitely, as the season goes on, we have more things to talk about. I'll definitely want to come on and rant, and especially I'm sure once we get into the summer, because we know how the club's transfer policy is. You guys were already talking about it, how bad of a situation we are with the squad and player contracts and everything. So there's going to be plenty of rants to be had in the future, I think.
Yeah, and for me, rant, and I got a little bit in trouble because for me, ranting isn't necessarily a negative thing. You can rant positively, or for me, a rant is just like an impassioned, conversation, right? You can either rant negatively or you can rant positively. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's just how I interpret it. But there are a couple of people over on the other side of the pond that ranting, that's what the Arsenal guys do. We don't need to rant. And I'm like, well, that's not what I just meant talk, but. And I figured that this topic, I had gotten so much heat about the Lamela topic that I figured I had to do a show on it. Right? I figured that if I didn't, I wouldn't be doing justice to what I said. And I was hoping that like Brian Daigle or Matty Hayes, one of those guys, because Brian's over here on this side of the world. I was hoping he would come on, and that's why I tagged him on Twitter in the promo post for this particular chat. But he didn't show up, but Victor did, and Victor's called me out several times on Matt and Dave's channel over at my comments on Erik Lamela, and I appreciate it. I really do, because I'm not afraid to say I was wrong or I was right. And Victor made a good case. He changed my mind on some things, and in fact, he made me even more worried than I was before. So
Yeah, there's some problems at hand.
So
yeah, some big problems.
And I think if this is going to be a successful transition, go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think the audio is a little choppy on my end. Am I coming through okay?
You're coming through fine. You're coming through fine over here.
Okay.
I have good
All
internet
right.
though. So.
Well, I was just going to say that. So my view on Lamela, and not just Lamela, this applies to other players, is more a take on the Spurs fan base. I think that we have a fan base that largely becomes very attached to players over time in a way that is great, because it adds to the positive environment around this club in terms of, Spurs have been through a lot. Spurs fans have been through a lot. We haven't always seen the best football, but we have such emotion and such affection for the players who stay here for more than a couple of years, the players who wear the shirt for time, and we get used to their personalities and their quirks, and we enjoy that. It's part of the whole family atmosphere of the club. It's what makes supporting Tottenham so great. But at the same time, if our objective is to win trophies, if our objective is to break into the top four for real, not just, I understand we've been in the top four the last 4-5 years in a row up until last year. But I think to establish ourselves as a perennial top four club, we need to let go of a little bit of that. And we need to be fine with being a little hard on these guys. And and maybe it's because I'm an American like you, in American sports, man, it moves so fast. New guys come in every year from college and everything. When a guy stops performing, you move him on. You trade him. you cut them. You know, guys, you know, can be top 10 players in 3 years. They can't make a practice squad if you want to, like, you know, compare it to the NFL. So I think maybe we're a little more comfortable with that. But, I mean, when you're not getting production from a player, and they've been here years under different managers, different systems with different players around them, I mean, you just can't keep investing time and money into those players, especially when we have, which we do have, one of the best academy setups in the world right now. Bring these young guys through. Get them game time. I mean, look at what Ollie Skip is doing at Norwich. It just proves it. We've got incredible young talent. So what's the point in paying guys who are getting towards 30 years old who haven't produced in years? It doesn't help the club. And obviously, yes, it's a squad game. You need to have guys ready to come in who have experience, who can play. There are other options. And honestly, part of the problem, and, you know, of course, this goes into part of the larger problem with the club and the infrastructure and the board, is we are way too ready to hand out 4-5-year contracts to players. From the time we first bring them in and in terms of re-signing them.
No, I agree with you 100%, man. And I have no problem being ruthless, right? And I don't. And that's the things for me, even though I love Son, right? Just not only from the fact that I lived in Korea for as long as I did, but and he was kind of he was the player that really made me into a serious Spurs supporter, to where, you know, I'm buying all this junk and watching week in, week out, and going on fan shows for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, same.
And streaming 3 hours 2 or 3 times a week, right? I mean, it's if selling Son meant us going forward, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I don't. And that's why I really feel that Daniel Levy has a emotional attachment to players, whether it be monetarily or emotionally. I'm not sure, but he needs to be a little bit more ruthless. And I think I believe 100% that I could do everybody's as good a job. I think half of us could do everybody good as job. I think probably most of us fans could do everybody good as job as Steve Hitchen at recruiting players. And it's really sad that we're stuck the way that we are with and missed out on people that could have been. I mean, like Gio Reyna, right? You could go get Gio Reyna right now for probably, what's his, if you want to look for a Son replacement who has possibilities, or somebody who could be like young in a Paulo Dybala type role. I know as us as Americans, we have, you know, bias for him, but I don't think that I do.
I mean, I don't think it's biased. If you watch the kid play, he's incredible. I mean, I think he has every bit the potential to be better than his father. I mean, the way he links up with those other guys at Dortmund who are, you know, considered world class when it comes to Sancho and Haaland. You know, I mean, he's got the talent for sure. He just, you know, needs more time, more development.
I mean, he's 18, playing in the first division. He's already worth 41 million. 41 million.
41 million for an 18-year-old.
Wow.
For an 18-year-old American.
I would rather spend the money, and it has nothing to do with him being an American. I'd rather spend the money on him because he's 18. The upside is through the roof.
Well, I mean, you already got. I mean, you guys, everybody here.
On him instead of a Dybala.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, I agree. If
Is
you're
he
going to spend
left-footed?
50 million on Dybala, no, he's right-footed. But I mean, I agree with you 100%. If you're going to spend that much money on Dybala, why at 27, who's maybe a little bit better than Gio Reyna now at 18, why not? Because I personally, and we all know as Americans how many Christian Pulisic in the I'm going to use the S word here, the soccer world, right? How many Christian Pulisic shirts that we see running around all the time, or
He's
how
not
many,
even playing for Chelsea
right,
now.
or how many friends we have. I think Gio Reyna is going to make Christian Pulisic look like Erik Lamela, in my eyes. To be honest with you, I think this kid has far more potential than Christian Pulisic did. I really do.
He's more. I do think he's more. Just watching him play, his composure on the ball is better than Pulisic's at the same age. Like when Pulisic was 18, 19 playing for Dortmund, his composure on the ball is better. He's more creative. He has fantastic touch on his passes. He really plays like a player who's at least 3 or 4 years older than he is. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why there isn't more talk
Big
about
chance.
Gio Reyna across the football media landscape. So
3 goals, 4 assists, 6 big chances created, and 1.2 key passes per match. That's
At
nuts.
18.
At 18.
In the Bundesliga. Like, why isn't everybody talking about Gio Reyna?
Why aren't we buying this
I've
guy?
heard you mention him a few times. Well, I'm glad you have, man, because
I'm telling you, I understand why, especially in England, why they don't bring in more players, because they can't, right? They can't sign, especially now, they can't sign foreign players under the age of 18. But he's 18 now, right? So why not go for him this year? I mean, especially if you sell Son, and you don't buy him, you think about it. You say you get 80 million euro for Son. Why not pick him up for 40?
That would
And
be
then
the right move.
use 40 million for somebody else, right? And then him and Sessegnon and Bergwijn can fight out for that left-hand side. And I guarantee you the Gio's going to rise to the top in that. And you think about market-wise, right? Yeah, Son's the biggest player in all of Asia. There's a lot of shirt money. But there's a lot of shirt money in the United States as well, right? I mean, how many Christian Pulisic shirts do, especially Dortmund shirts? You can't walk into a mall back when he played for Dortmund without seeing a yellow and black striped shirt with Christian Pulisic's name on the back of it, right? Look, if you go to, like, my kid plays soccer, and every little kid on the field's got a Christian Pulisic t-shirt on. So, I mean, if Tottenham were to bring in, Gio Reyna, it would be the biggest, ESPN FC would be talking about it every day for a month, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Levy
Smart to
wants to
tap into
target
that.
the American market. I mean, he's been doing it, having the NFL play at the stadium. I think it's a no-brainer, honestly.
and like Wall Street Hotspur said, that he became a Hotspur fan because of Clint Dempsey in 2012.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. I mean, I agree. That was one of the things that put Spurs on my radar. My stepdad before that, so he had asked me earlier what my Spurs story was. I started following Spurs casually in around 2003, 2006, really. Occasionally, after Son Heung-min signed for Tottenham in 2014, and then obsessively after the 2016-2017 season when my son started playing soccer, or football. So that's my story in a short. You'll have to catch my Spurs story on David's channel here coming up in the next week. Just for guys watching, I'll be on the Tottenham Away podcast on Monday, the 4th or the 5th of April. I think it's going around 2 or 3 p.m. our time. And then I'll be doing a Spurs story with David. And then this coming Monday, the 28th. So be on the lookout for that. But I'll probably be going live here to maybe tomorrow night or Sunday night, or probably tomorrow night. We'll go Saturday night because Saturday night's easier than Sunday night. So I'll probably come up live tomorrow night and do the defensive side. So last night we did the front, Son, Kane, Bale. Today we talked about, Lamela was the key one for me, but we also hit Mora and some of the defensive midfielders. But we'll probably talk more about like Winks, Højbjerg, and then the center backs tomorrow night. I'm going to try to get Marcelo to come on with me tomorrow night if he's free. It's probably easier to get him on a Saturday night unless he's out partying around over there in Boston. But yeah. So anybody got anything else they want to say? Or we're at about 3 hours now.
No,
And,
just thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Thanks to you guys for coming on, right? The show wouldn't be
Yeah,
half the
thanks for
fun.
having me on.
No. Thank you guys for coming on. The show wouldn't. Who wants to watch my face rant on for 3 hours straight all by myself? If nobody comes on, the show gets boring pretty quick. I'll be honest with you. Not only does it get boring for people watching, it gets boring for me. Right? For me to be able to rant on for 3 hours without people coming on to challenge me like Victor did, and really kind of make me rethink my position on certain things, and from his viewpoint, right? So it's not that I necessarily agree that Lamela is a great player. I don't think neither of us necessarily hold that position, but his position of why it's more important to keep Lamela over, say, this particular player here or that player there is a very logical and reasoned position, and it's one that I can understand and acknowledge and be okay with, right?
He's actually changed my mind because I think there are a lot more problematic players that we need to get rid of, like Sissoko's and Dele and all that.
Dave says Vic is man of the match, and Mexico Spurs wants to know if you're a coach, Vic.
Not a coach, former player.
Okay. Good deal. Well, what's your Tottenham story, Vic? Tell us your Tottenham story while you're here before we jump off.
Sure. I started following, same with Clint Dempsey being on Spurs, and was a fan ever since. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And like I said, I've been a fan kind of away from the fan base. So a lot of my opinions were formed just by watching the games on Sundays. And then, recently got into the YouTube thing where I've started watching the other fans during quarantine. And it's been a nice escape and a nice kind of accompaniment to watching the games. So,
yeah, no, I agree with you, man. And that's kind of why I got into it too, right? Like I think I've been going on We Are Tottenham TV since they started doing the watch along show. So about a year, I guess. I've been on there off and on. Whenever they started doing that, March, April of last year, right? And then I would always see David and Marcelo and Matt coming on to that. And I didn't really even start following David that seriously until probably about a good 3 months ago, probably. And he just started his channel only like 5 months ago. So he hasn't even had a channel for that long, to be honest. And then, I have a super chat problem. And so I always throw the super chats in there. And and then after talking with David and stuff like that, I'm like, dude, you guys are always doing shows when I can't join, because they would ask me to come on. I'm like, dude, I got work to do. Like, I'll have you in my ear and I might grab my phone and throw in a super chat or something like that. But I'm not really like, here in this room, able to come on and do a show. And I was like, well, what if I just start filling the gap, between what you guys do over there and what's going on over here? And he said, you should do it, man. You should just do it. Do it whenever you can do it and see what happens. And I've been impressed with the response, to be honest with you, because I've surpassed, and it's not like it's me. It's the fact that it's this, I think it's, for one, it's you guys, right? Coming on and making the show as good as you do. And two, the time of day. It's easier. I think it's easier to come on for people to come on, maybe not necessarily join the stream on camera or anything like that, but to watch it, when you're kind of sitting in bed or doing whatever, and you're winding down from the night, and it's, join us here on YouTube or watch, some, American Idol or something like that. Right. Like, I mean, which one are you going to choose? And, I'd like to be able to come on a little bit earlier, but it'd just be too loud up in here. If I could come on around 8 p.m. Eastern time, it might help, especially for people out this way. But I figure for West Coast folks, me coming on around 10:30, that's what, 7 o'clock their time. So,
Yeah.
You're filling a void.
just got to fill a void because I mean, for me, there was nothing going on. It was like by the time I had the time to actually sit down and actually watch attentively, there was nothing on. And it's just being on a live show, I think, is far more entertaining than just watching a rerun of it because you can interact in the chat, you can come on and have your say. You know, like I would watch some live streams after the fact, and I can never make it past the first 25, 30 minutes, right? It's like it's just not the same. Unless it's like a really entertaining, like I think the one that we did last Saturday or last Sunday with Brian Daigle, Marcelo, and if you guys haven't checked that one, check it out. That one's pretty entertaining. We had Brandon Victor Dixon, Brian Daigle, Marcelo, what's that? The other guy, Danny Karachico. I can never pronounce his last name. Kuriko?
I think it's Kiriakou.
Kiriakou.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Danny Kiriakou.
Sounds Greek.
It sounds Japanese to me. Yeah, it was a great show. That was like three hours and like 35 minutes or something like that. That was a pretty entertaining show. I honestly probably only spoke like maybe 5 times. Ask Mexico Spurs Supporters Club. I probably only said like 10 words that whole show. It was literally Brandon, Brian, Marcelo, and Danny going after each other the whole time. It was
Dixon. He's an American actor, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty nice. Do they are debating each other about what topic?
So Brian was ranting on about Daniel Levy and the board. And then Brandon was going after Marcelo over his Jose opinions, right? Because Brandon is a Jose fan and kind of started supporting Spurs because Jose Mourinho came to the club. And then Marcelo, after the Arsenal game, kind of switched to Jose out.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? Do you think it's Jose? Like 100%?
No, I don't think it's Jose's fault. And honestly, I'd go into that more, Will, but I'm really kind of like I've done this whole Jose in, Jose out talk for like the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Last 2 weeks. It's really starting to get old for me to repeat the same thing over and over and over again. But that's not your fault because you're new to the channel. So I appreciate that. And I'm going to actually have to go back to Modern Day Debate and watch the rest of the question and answer period because I put in a super chat and didn't get to hear the answer. But I don't know. I just think there was something that needed to be done. And you know, any of the success that I have is all because of you guys. And it's 1:40 for me, Alejandro. It's almost 2 a.m. So I rolled this thing. I usually run either 10 to 1 or 1 to or 10:30 to 1:30. So it's what I try to do. But most of them end up running, 20 to 30 minutes longer than that. So like I think yesterday Wednesday when we streamed till 2 a.m. So it's a thing. So I'll keep doing it as long as you guys keep coming on and watching. So if you have any other friends,
I'm gonna be coming back. So you'll get sick of my face because I'll be
honestly, it's been a pretty even.
There's gonna be a lot more development. So
it's been a pretty even mix. I can't remember a guest that I've had on twice. To be honest with you,
it's kind of nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. There are some times when I get worried when if the person that comes on isn't necessarily, I guess you could say, very eloquent or maybe talks too much, that it can kind of derail the conversation, right? But we haven't really had any issues with that either. So, because I know I do some debates sometimes. So like what's funny is Will came on to the show tonight because we were in a chat on Modern Day Debates. It's like a debate channel.
Yeah.
And he recognized my name in the chat and was like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like,
I like watching Destiny and his style.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like
he's like, "I'm a fan of Son." And I'm like, "Who's Son?" And he's like, You know, I've seen you on We on Tottenham TV where he said Sonny. And
Yeah.
I thought Sonny, is he talking about Son Heung-min? But I don't know, right? Because that's weird. This isn't a football channel, right? This isn't a football
Exactly. It's so
channel.
weird to see you there. Like,
And so I was like, well, hey, dude, I'm going live in like 15 minutes. He's like, I'll be there. Right. So it's one of those deals. But yeah, no, I just think it's fun, and we'll open it up. So, you know, Vic, I appreciate it. Come on anytime, man. Your insight is great. And I think you'll be a valuable asset to the North American team. So whenever you're free to come on, and that's different too. With this one, there's not really a straight topic. And that's the other thing that kind of frustrated me a little bit about some of the other channels. And not that they're bad, and I understand that that's their thing, and they have a lot larger group. And I hope to even keep the same format even when we're, you know, at a really large size. Because like I said, this chat here can hold up to 10 people at one time. And if I have to boot, you know, people to bring in new people in, I'll do that if I have to. But I'd like to have at some point where the whole 3 hours, there's 10 guys on this screen all the time, you know, talking about different things. And speaking of that, we got Jose jumping in.
What's up, guys?
Jose, what's going on? Sorry, I always call you Jose for some reason.
It's only fitting.
Yeah, for the Jose Mourinho part. That's I see that so many times. But yeah, man. So what do you think?
I had to be the first. I heard you say that. I had to be the first one to be on twice.
To come on twice.
Yeah.
All right. So Jose is the first person to be on twice.
Let it be known.
He came in to break my streak. No. Of having a unique and in you know, team for the whole time. But yeah, but I hope at some point in time, maybe not 10. 9 would be perfect, because once you have 9, the screen is completely filled with these windows, right? From corner to corner at about this side. So, Will, do you watch Hippy Dippy at all?
yes.
Yeah. So you know how they do their round table with 9 screens all around it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's eventually what I want this to be. I want this to be a 3-hour Hippy Dippy style Tottenham talk, right?
Yeah.
Where
10 is the limit.
10's the max, yeah. And what it does is we got 5 here.
It'll be
So
fun.
it does 5 on this side of the screen, 5 on the left side of the screen, 5 on the right hand of the screen. But 9 would be a perfect. So if we can get 9 to run for 3 hours long and just have everybody chat, and for me at some point where I can come on at the beginning, say my piece, throw the topic, let people talk about it, debate it, discuss it, and me kind of moderate, direct the conversation, but this really be your guys' channel rather than my channel. That's really kind of my goal for this channel. What I want to do, right? I don't want it to be, you know, Will Stewart ranting at the camera for 3 hours. I want it to be me to come in, say my piece for 15 minutes, interject when I want to interject, direct the conversation, switch in the topic, throw in a thing here and there. And just let the American, because I feel too, and it's kind of like, do I want to? I'm not really I'm a libertarian personally, but American safe space where if you accidentally say the S word, nobody's going to belittle you. You know what I mean? Honestly, because man, I tell you what, the amount of time that I've had to battle with people in the comments on the We Are Tottenham TV channel for when Brandon Dixon. Like, even when I first started coming on, people were like, get back to your soccer, you blah, blah. And I'm like, I've even said it to the camera, and We Are Talking to Me, if you want to call me a Yank, you can sit on a stick and spin around on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
It doesn't even make sense, though, because it's a word of English origin. Like, soccer, like the word soccer comes from England. We didn't make it up. Like,
yeah, it's association football shortened down to soccer. I mean, they call it soccer in Australia too, but nobody gives them a hard time, right? So,
no, I mean, also nobody really cares about them down there.
Actually, we do. We care.
Just kidding.
And actually, this is a prime time for the Australia guys too, because when We Are Tottenham TV and David and all those guys are going live over in the UK, it's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning over there. Whereas this show comes on between 1 to 4 p.m. over there.
Prime time for them.
Especially on the weekends. Like, I don't expect maybe they're at work. It's kind of like for them to watch this show would be in the same situation that I'm in, watching David and Ben and Sam and Matt's shows, right? But that's better than 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, right? Which is what this show is for the UK guys. And so that's why I try to take this show and then cut it down into good points. Like Victor, like when you come on, that's gonna make a great short. I'm calling people to talk to me about Lamela. You come on, you get the things, boom, 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 boom. A lot of people are gonna love that. I think that's gonna be a show, because at 3 hours and 15 minutes right now we've been streaming. It's a bit long for anybody to consume, right? So the good points of that conversation sometimes get missed, especially if you're watching it after the fact. So what I like to do is like cut it up, grab the best parts of the conversation, or new faces coming onto the stream, kind of introducing them out, and throwing that out for everybody. So Cody Mack said that he's going to come on tomorrow night. So if you guys want to join the stream tomorrow night, that'd be great too.
Nice.
The more the merrier. I'm going to try to get Marcelo onto the show because I'm talking about defensive guys and he's a defensive guru.
You know what you should do though? I remember I was watching Blue Fan TV once where they did like a post-match fanshow where they lost, and it was like 10 people on there, like just some randomly, and just start debating. It'll be fun.
we do post-match, but I tend to do them after. And so to me, as someone who is a member of We Are Tottenham TV, Matty Hayes, and the Irish Hotspur, and do super chats on all 3 of those chats. I don't want to like, and really because the only reason why people know me is because I had gone on their shows so many times, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to steal their time slot. So if I were to go on right after a Spurs game, I feel like I would be.
But it's
competing
like
with
different content though, because We Are Tottenham TV, they get called on one by one, right? But we're talking about like having a lot of people.
Yeah, and maybe when we grow bigger, right? I was saying when we have a consistent, like what I think, like I said before, like once we got maybe the hippy dippy type schedule where there's 9-10 guys on all the time for the whole type 3 hours, then yeah, we might even do a watch. I mean, could you imagine a watch along with 10 people? Especially, I think that once the lockdown ends, right? Once the lockdown ends, and the guys like We Are Tottenham TV and maybe not Matty Hayes and
They're gonna be at the
matches, right? So they're not going to be really doing watch-alongs then. So then that's my time. That's my time to jump in and steal that air spot, right? And then we'll do a little different.
Most fun.
Makes sense.
Yeah, where you have like 9 or 10 guys doing a watch-along, I think it would be way more fun than.
And have you guys associated with like a local fan club?
Yeah, there's one in North Carolina. We have a supporters club. I'm a member of it because I'm a member of the Facebook group, but literally as soon as we moved to North Carolina and I started going to the matches, COVID happened, so I couldn't really go anymore. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I live in Northern Virginia, so I would drive up to DC and go watch the games with DC Spurs, and I watched 2 games, and then COVID. So
I can't wait for it to come back. I'm looking forward to it.
So I lived in,
nice.
we moved from Lynchburg to Greensboro, North Carolina. So I lived in Virginia for a couple years.
hell yeah.
But all right, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming on. Mexico Spurs, you guys are the comment masters. Wayne Bonner, thank you for joining. Alejandro Perez, thank you guys for joining. Wall Street Hotspur, thank you for your first time to join the show. I appreciate it as much. If you guys don't mind, if you're a part of any supporters groups or anything like that, at least share the shorts with them. And because the more people that come on here, the more people we've got, the better it is. And you guys tell me in the comments below, either after this video ends or below, but I'm also thinking about maybe doing, because I feel bad because a lot of times, especially with the amount of people that come on the show, it's really hard for me to focus on, the screen here and the comments here. So I might do like a question and answer show as well. Like maybe in between the long streams, like a short 30 or 40 minute question and answer show where it's 100% questions. Cause I don't want to leave the chat guys out, because I'm not a pro at doing at multitasking both this and that
It's a smart idea.
at the same time. So I might do just a chat show, like a short chat show, maybe, once or twice a week, and then to do the long 3-hour stream show 3 times a week is kind of my goal. Like a Wednesday, a Friday, and a Saturday, or is my plan right now. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, or pre-match, midweek, pre-match, post-match. Once we get out of the international break, is kind of my plan. So, anyway, gentlemen, I've had to go to the bathroom for the past 2 hours. So,
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Appreciate you guys coming
Good.
on.
You guys.
Great weekend,
Go to
guys.
bed.
Have a great
Night, guys.
week. You guys are amazing. I appreciate it. James, thanks for coming on, my man. And we're going to end this broadcast. We'll see you guys next time. Will Stewart here. Rolling the intro if I can look over my camera and find the thing. Remember, right? Even if you disagree with what I got to say, come on and watch. Anyway, join the show and change my mind like Vic did. Vic HM. He's the new legend. Change my mind. Come on the show. Get your say in. I'm not hard-headed. Even though I got strong opinions, I'm willing to listen to reason. So join us. Stay strong. Stay Spurs. And we'll see you next time.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go now.